98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. We got a full show tonight, a bunch on tap. We got Red Sox news. Last week my take was, hey, no problems with the Red Sox this year, Might have spoke too soon on that one. I do have some thoughts on the Four Nations final, which we will have another final here between USA and Canada, so we're all looking forward to that. And did anybody see NBA All-Star Weekend? I only saw one thing, but once again, the NBA got dominated by another sport. And I think it's starting to bring up the fact that ratings are down. And even the players might be upset with what's going on in the league. So a lot to get into tonight. The phone number is 617-779-0985. We're on YouTube as well. I know today's a holiday. My traffic was interesting on the way in, so I know a lot of people are listening out on the roads today. And if you didn't catch up with what happened with the Red Sox, we'll start it there tonight. Our opening take brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Of course, all of our opening takes brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. So I made the my take was there's really no issues going on with the Red Sox heading into the season. Well, I did hear at least something to the effect of Devers has been in Florida, has been working out, and then all of a sudden the trade happened and he went home. Curious if he was disgruntled, and well, today Rafael Devers adamantly said he does not want to give up third base and does not want to be the DH. Also went on to say he was promised third base when he signed his long-term extension. But that was the old regime. Alex Cora today says that Devers has a lot of pride. We know that. He feels like he is the third baseman. He's going to work out as the third baseman. We're going to make decisions accordingly. Mentions that Bregman or Devers or Cora, it's not about anybody. It's about the Boston Red Sox. Whatever decision we make is going to be what benefits the team the most. My thought is this on Devers. A year ago, I specifically remember him calling out ownership that they need more talent. He called out ownership to get better. They have done that. And now he's not willing to change his role. It's funny how that happens, right? People ask for help. They want more. But when it finally affects them, they don't want to move. They don't want to move. I got a lot more on this one. But just to bring it so I can relate it to you all. You ever sign a contract at your job? You ever accept a new job and all the terms are there, your salary and the benefits and what your accelerators could be? Right? And then, I don't know, the director of operations leaves. You got your contract. It's all you have. And then they sit you down one day and they say, well, we're going to change this around and change that around. And, but it's like, hey, I got this contract. Yeah, the contract's there. It's writing. It's just a piece of paper. And Devers, if he was promised something, it was the old regime. And I would just tell you, Rafael Devers, just to relate to all of you out there listening, because I know it's happened to you, it's happened to me. You sign a contract, right? You think you're entitled to what that contract says. Welcome to 2025, Rafael Devers. Welcome. New regime comes in. That's just a piece of paper. That's all it is. And you know what? In a way, I think Devers was told one thing. And now they want to say, hey, can you be flexible for the team? But he signed that contract. That piece of paper is important to him. But just like it was important to all of you, things change, times change, ownership changes, management changes, and then your contract, no matter, it doesn't hold up anymore. So I just wanted to be relatable on that one to you all, to how it is to Rafael Devers. I hope he does look at it and embraces the DH role. I really do. I hope he embraces it. But at this point, I'm curious if the new regime, the Craig Breslow, Theo Epstein, if that regime can somehow talk Devers into doing what's best for the team. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. Also, Team USA upset Canada. It was riveting. It was a tough weekend for the NBA. They got beat out by the Four Nations. They got beat out by the 50th anniversary Saturday Night Live. And LeBron tapped out. The game sucked. We'll get into all that tonight as we're here until 10 o'clock. We got Skaz here. We got an intern, Trent, as well. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
We call them the Joe Murray Pre-Party. It's Felger and Maz afternoons right now. Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Bork, right side to Anson Carter. Carter up the right side for Joe Thornton, breaking into the Carolina zone to Carter. Carter in! Carter back in and scores! Anson Carter ends it! The Bruins lead the series 3 games to 2. 5:15 to go in second overtime, and the Bruins win it 4-3!
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Oh, wow, what a throwback there, pulled by James Scaramuzino. It's a goal from a former Boston Bruin that's joining us right now on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. It is TNT's NHL on TNT and Sportsnet. It's former Boston Bruin Anson Carter joining us here on 98.5 The Sports Hub in Boston. Anson, how you enjoying your time in Boston in the Four Nations final?
Oh, it's been great. We're actually in the studio here in Atlanta, but just seeing the crowds there in Boston, I'm having a serious case of FOMO. Because I watched the crowds in Montreal, now coming back down to here, the U.S. in Boston, where it's been the site of so many Stanley Cup final runs for the Boston Bruins. They've seen the Patriots win championships, the Red Sox, the Celtics. It's only fitting that the championship game will be there at the TD Garden Arena.
Well, listen, we saw I think some people saw the NBA All-Star game this weekend, so it was so dominated by Canada, USA, and what's going on with the Four Nations final here. But what did you think originally of the Canada-USA matchup? And, I mean, did you think that there'd be 3 fights in the first 9 seconds and it would be that much excitement?
Well, I can tell you right now, if anyone watched the basketball game, I wasn't one of them. I was too caught up in the Four Nations. And you heard, Draymond Green, the fellow Michigan State Spartan, talking about the Four Nations. Like, everyone's been talking about Tom Brady, I believe, tweeted about the Four Nations. J.J. Watt, same exact thing. Did I expect 3 tilts right away? Absolutely not. But you know what? It's great for the game. People are talking about it. It's not the fighting aspect. It's the passion between the two countries. And it's a meeting of the minds, right? It's Canada, U.S., plus what's happening off the ice politically, too. It was so charged. I mean, I loved it. It was great. I had my neighbors here in Atlanta talking about hockey that rarely watch the game at all.
What do you think about Canada going with Binnington and net? Don Sweeney's the GM of the team, of course, here in Boston. Do you think he will be the guy in the championship game as well?
I think he will be. I think the time to have switched probably would have been game number 2. Against the Americans. I think now Binnington's the guy. It'd be kind of hard to put Aiden Hill in now in a championship-type game. So for me, it's up to, can Canada weather the storm and not beat themselves? I thought the Americans were tremendous in that game versus Canada, bottling up the middle of the ice and defending. Charlie McAvoy, oh my goodness, what a horse he is on the back end for Team USA. I think the only thing that's missing from his game is the offensive input or output before people start talking about Charlie McAvoy and Norris Trophy, because, when you get Norris consideration, you have to have some offense to your game. He has that, but it's taken a little bit of time to show that. But defensively, oh my goodness, the job he did on Connor McDavid was outstanding.
Yeah, I wish we could see that more in the regular season. He has been dealing with an injury. He's not going to play in tonight's game as he's preparing for the championship game this weekend. But just sticking with the Bruins, Brad Marchand didn't see as much ice time in that game. What do you think about Marchand this year, him being the captain, and do you think he'll contribute in the championship game?
I really do. Playing in Boston in front of his home fans there, Marshy's game, he's rounded out his game so much since he first came to the league as an agitator. He's developed into a highly skilled player, playing with Bergie and playing with Sid on those national teams certainly helped. Now he's wearing the C. I listen to him a lot in pregame and postgame and giving his pressers. He gives thoughtful answers. He's got the great temperature of the room. He's had tremendous leadership that he's had a chance to learn from in the past. So his game is so much more than just goals and assists, but he always comes up big in the big moments.
Anson Carter joining us here. We're on the flagship of the Boston Bruins, so I know a lot of people, when we mentioned you were coming on today, they were like, he was part of a big trade years ago. So I wanted to just ask you, what do you think the Bruins need to do here before the trade deadline? Should they add pieces, or should they try to maybe look ahead to the future a bit?
Yeah, it's so weird because all the additions they made in the offseason, which I thought were pretty smart, haven't really panned out. And there's nobody on that team you could point to and you're saying, that guy's having a tremendous season. It just feels like everyone on the team is just flat. Whereas last year, that's the kind of year they're having this year is the kind of year I expected last year. Not having Krejci, not having Bergie being there. I thought there'd been a little bit of drop-off. Yes, the goaltending was outstanding, so that covered up some of the warts. But it's hard to really analyze the squad because no one's really having a great year. Everyone's having a flat year. So having said that, we know there's tons of pressure that comes to playing in Boston. There's high expectations there. Do I think Donnie Sweeney will sit pat and do nothing? I don't think so. I think he'll tweak the team and do something, not just for the short term, but I think he'll have his eyes set on making some changes possibly that'll affect this team long term too.
I'll get your prediction on the championship game in a minute here. I just have one more Bruins question to ask. I don't know who the next coach will be. I know Joe Sacco's in there now, and he's kind of weathered the storm here, but who do you think will be the next head coach of the Boston Bruins?
Oh, it's so hard to tell. I've always said, and I call him the boogeyman, Joel Quenneville. He's out there. He's lurking. Every coach that's out there that's in trouble knows that he's out there. A Stanley Cup winner, tons of success in the league. He's chomping at the bit. He's one of the winningest coaches of the National Hockey League. He has to be the consideration. You know, this is a team that needs something to maybe jolt them. Like you saw what happened in Detroit with Todd McClellan when he came and, turned that team around there. So Quenneville, I think, could be a good addition. I mean, he'd be a great addition to any sort of squad in the National Hockey League, but it really depends on what Donnie's thinking and the management there, Cam Neely and Charlie Jacobs are thinking, if they want to do something short-term and get younger and bring in more of a teaching-type coach or thinking, or long-term, or thinking short-term, getting someone that'll try to turn this group around quickly to try to win a championship in the next year or so.
Anson, have you ever seen a guy as fast as Connor McDavid?
Pavel Bure was pretty fast. And so was Fedorov, and so was Modano. But the difference in this era is you could showcase that speed now because you can't clutch and grab. Those players I mentioned before, they'd get slowed down, they get bogged down the neutral zone because you put a stick on someone and you could just basically jet ski from one blue line to the other. I remember Pat Burns, our coach there in Boston, he'd always say, put your stick in somebody's side. And that's all you have to do. Take 2 quick strides, get your stick in someone's waist, and then he'll pull you right down the ice. And I think that's what required you to have what I called it man strength. So you couldn't play in the National Hockey League as an 18-year-old. It's very rare because you weren't strong enough. If a guy had their stick on you, he had you. So, yes, I think those players were just as fast, but I think Connor McDavid's really benefited from the rule change. And when the puck's on his stick, that's the biggest difference for me, even with Nathan McKinnon too. Normally when you see a guy with a puck on his stick, it's like an anchor and they slow down. These players are just as fast, if not faster, with the puck on their stick, and they are without the puck on their stick.
All right, I'll get your prediction on the game, but what is it like to play for Team Canada? I mean, they just had their loss. I can only imagine what sports radio would be like in Canada right now, but what's it like to play for them, and do they have a lot of amount of pressure going into this game?
Oh, there's tons of pressure. I've had the pleasure of wearing that Maple Leaf 3 times. I won a World Junior Championship in '94, a Men's World Championship in '97, then again in 2003. And every single time you put that sweater on, you're expected to win. It doesn't matter if you're shorthanded. Doesn't matter if you're icing an all-star lineup. There's no excuses. The people in Canada are expecting a victory, and if you don't win, they expect heads to roll. That's how serious and the pressure is up in Canada. So as an athlete, you love it because you don't go into a game thinking you want to tie or hope you don't lose. You go in thinking we want to win. So if those expectations from the public are that, inside the room, they're tenfold because guys are trying to pull for each other because they understand what's at stake.
Yeah, who wins this thing?
Well, this is a hard one for me. I think the best thing that happened to this game or this tournament is the Americans beating Canada on Canadian soil. And Canadian teams typically need some adversity to overcome to win a championship. And they've got a lot of guys that X factor with Sidney Crosby, Mark Stone, McDavid, McKinnon. But the Americans also have that too, with the Kachuk brothers, Gensel and Jack Eichel. I think it'll come down to goaltending. We haven't seen Binnington's best game, and I think the high-end talent with Canada is too high, even though they're missing some defensemen. So I think Canada wins it the second game.
I'm hoping no one boos the anthems. I know that's been a big storyline here. My guy Todd Angeli will be doing the national anthem and the Canadian anthem, so I'm hoping that we get Boston fans to cheer that thing. Just speaking of the Boston fans, you mentioned Pat Burns. We played a clip of one of your old goals there in the playoffs. It was assisted by Joe Thornton and Ray Bourque. Can you just imagine playing for guys like that, man? It's two of the best players ever here in Boston.
It's crazy. Like, Joe was just there. We just traded for Joe. I mean, we just drafted Joe. I got there late in '97, I believe it was, the trade deadline. We drafted Joe and Sammy, and Bubba was the end of his career. And to play with both of those guys, one starting a Hall of Fame career, the other one ending a Hall of Fame career, it was fascinating times there in Boston. But the one thing I will never forget is the passionate fan base they have there in Boston. It was amazing. I mean, when I got there, the team was in last place at the last quarter of the season, whatever it might be, and there's tons of yellow seats. And I remember joking with my mom and dad back in Toronto, saying everyone's wearing their yellow rain jackets here because at the time the Fleet Center had yellow seats. Yep. But we turned that thing around pretty quickly, and just the passion of the Boston fans walking down Newbury Street, Marlborough Street, and the North End. Everyone wanted to talk hockey on Causeway Street. I'll never forget that. And it's come through time and time again, Stanley Cup finals, playoff runs. You can't beat the sports fans and how emotionally involved people there in Boston are when it comes to hockey or all the major sports for that matter.
Anson Carter, fan favorite here. Appreciate you taking a few minutes here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. You can check him out, NHL on TNT. Great coverage, Anson, and appreciate you taking a few minutes tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Want everyone to tune in. We're on at 7 o'clock tonight.
7 o'clock tonight. Appreciate you, Anson Carter. Thank you, sir.
You got it. You're welcome.
You got it. Anson Carter, everybody, former Boston Bruin, part of the coverage on TNT. They begin at 7 o'clock tonight. I like how he mentioned all the former street names. And when we played that clip for you, you're right. Bork and Thornton, assisted on the game winner there. So everyone's excited for the Four Nations. I think our very own Kevin Majore is going to the game tonight as well. No Linus Ullmark tonight. Everyone's ready for USA Canada. Skaz, great get on the interview. Thank you. He's awesome.
Shout out the Jeremy Conley for that one. Always helping.
The Jeremy Conley. Always lurking, huh? By the way, to give credit on the play-by-play on that was Alan Siegel. Shout out to you, Alan Siegel, who did the play-by-play on that goal. He mentioned Charlie McAvoy and all these glowing things about McAvoy. People nationally think differently about this guy than us. They really do, right? His hit the other night made a big impact in the game. He had 5 hits. There were hits all over the place that night. Like, you give me USA Canada, I'm in. Like, USA Canada, I don't care what it is. It could be bowling, all right? I don't care what it is. Drinking, whatever. USA Canada, I'm in. But I do feel like there is this national perspective regarding McAvoy that maybe I'm not seeing, guys. His hit was huge. It was impactful. And he's taken the night off. He's still been dealing with some injury, and he'll be ready to go. But he made an impact. He got beat on McDavid, but everybody would have. But, man, like, he had a big impact in that win.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw any of the mic'd up afterwards, but they had some of the guys that were on the ice mic'd up, including the Tkachuk brothers. And, when they started to turn things around in that game, it was Brady Tkachuk who said, this all started with Charlie. This started with Charlie. And they were giving him a ton of credit. And, yeah, I'd like to see that version of Charlie McAvoy a little bit more, but I think it speaks to the talent on Team USA that he feels like he can kind of, I don't want to call it freelancing, but he has more freedom on the ice with Team USA because of the talent than he does with the Boston Bruins. He has to be a little more responsible because of his, deep pairing this year. But I think McAvoy was, I don't know if he wasn't the story coming out of the game because, the fights were the story, but I think McAvoy was, 1B to that maybe. I thought he was him and Jacob Slavin. I thought Slavin might have been the best player on the ice.
Hellebuck, man.
Hellebuck was awesome as well. I was shocked he wasn't a star.
Yeah, I like how Anson Carter mentioned that the first win was on Canadian soil. I got to get the betting line. I got to look ahead. I think Canada wins.
I think it's minus 105 both ways.
Whoa.
It was first I saw.
Ooh. Binnington. That's the best they can come up with. And you know what? Here I am crapping on a guy that beat the Bruins years ago. I know. But hey, Don Sweeney putting together a nice little group that gave up a lot of goals today. 5-3, they got the win. They had the empty netter there. Connor McDavid, a goal and an assist. McKinnon had 2 goals in the game as well. USA Canada in Boston. Oh, that's going to be a good ticket. That's going to be a good ticket, everybody. Enjoy the game Thursday night 8 o'clock. We'll take a quick break. We'll hit the headline. I'm Joe Murray. Get your thoughts on the Four Nations, also the Red Sox, a bunch on the table tonight as we're here until 10 o'clock. I'm Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Everybody knows Joe.
Just keeps getting better.
Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
How would you react if they asked you to DH? How would you feel about that?
No.
No. That's how I like things. No. Hey, Joe. You want to go shovel the snow today? No. No. All right. I'm going to give you two sides of this one here, and it's 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. If you're trickling into the Four Nations tonight, feel free to comment on what you heard. Thanks to Anson Carter for joining us. Great guest. Sounded great. Starts at 7 o'clock. Just want to throw that in there one more time. All right, I'm two-sided on the Devers thing. Okay, number one, when I think of Devers, I think of a guy that just signed an extension. He's going to be here a long time. Probably wasn't always going to be a third baseman. Has a no-trade clause, I believe, in his contract, right? And when he signed the deal, Chaim Bloom, who was in charge, said, yeah, give me a third baseman. Cora has backed that up. Breslow has backed that up. Chaim Bloom talked about it a bunch when he was here. He ain't here no more. He ain't here no more. Which is what Alex Cora said earlier today. I'm just hyperbole there. But, Devers, here's where I back Devers. If you found out in December that Bregman was here, in the offseason, you could grab a first baseman's mitt. You could have the mentality of knowing that you're going to be a DH. When you're an athlete, the mental part of it is huge, right? You want to know what the expectation is. Devers has been working out all season long to be a third baseman. So it's easy for me to say, hey, man, I'm sorry.
Has he, Joe?
Well, he was, I don't know. I mean, I saw 240 pounds is what he said he weighed.
Do you think he's been working out all offseason to be a third baseman?
Well, I don't have any evidence that tells me he hasn't.
Last offseason, do you think he was working out all offseason to be a third baseman?
No, but he's the one who loves Chipotle, right?
Ice cream, I believe.
Oh, it's ice cream.
I think he's a big ice cream guy. But
yeah.
I think he probably told us last spring training that he was working out all offseason to be a third baseman as well. And I would just say the evidence is there that suggests maybe he's just not a good third baseman.
No, there's evidence. But no, just all right, use the psychology of it. When this offseason, he thought he'd be the third baseman of the Red Sox, right? Now, was he working out his guys? I don't know. He had bad shoulders. Does he look like a guy that's... He looks heavy. I don't care. Again, I don't care if you smoke cigarettes in a pack of cigarettes during the game. I don't care. You hit the ball like you do. I don't care what you look like, what you do, what your weight is. None of that. So that's the side of the street I live on. I don't care if you're 400 pounds. If you can hit a baseball, I'm in on you. But there are some things when it comes to Devers. You might be right about this, guys. He doesn't look trimmed down. Doesn't look like he's been doing left rights. You know what I'm saying? And I want to defend him for a second here because I think the first thing when someone says no, he wasn't prepared for this mentally. And he's a championship player. Bregman's a championship player. I think this thing's going to unfold. And let me just... I'm trying to relate to you Red Sox fans because there's so many that have tuned out since 2018 or even before then. But I'll just bring it up to 2003. The Red Sox had Giambi. They rescued Kevin Millar out of Japan, which was they never did that. Like the Japanese never did that. They never just let somebody go. It was like the whole deal with MLB in Japan. They didn't do that stuff. And then they signed some guy named David Ortiz. I don't know who that guy. I don't know who he is. It just worked out, right? It just worked out. Giambi stunk. Millar played first, and Ortiz became the DH. It happened. Who was involved in that, by the way? Who is the guy who helped make that decision? Theo Epstein. Is Theo Epstein now involved in the Red Sox again? Is he a part of maybe some of these moves or strategies that they have going on? I don't think it's the end of the world that today he said no. I don't think it's the end of the world that he doesn't want to move positions. He's a third baseman. He thinks he's a third baseman. He's mentally, I'll say this, he's done mental reps. Skaz, I've heard that before from the Red Sox, the mental swings and reps. Mentally, he thinks he's taking ground balls.
Red Sox lead the league in mental reps and vibes, Joe, in the offseason.
Yes. But, yeah, did he take mental reps at third base all year? Yes, he has. So I don't want to just crap all over Devers going to DH or not saying no to DH. But he's made it very clear. He made it very clear he doesn't want to move. How about this? Remember JD Martinez? He openly didn't want to be a DH. How'd that work out for him?
Victor Martinez as well, I believe,
Another
didn't want to be a DH originally.
Because he wanted to still be a catcher. He still wanted to be a part of that game. Yoshida, right? Openly upset about his role last year. What do you have, one inning in left field last year? One. Suzuki in Chicago right now, right, is another guy that wants to play the field. But a lot of guys say that. So I don't want to make it as though this is a one-sided Rafi Devers and his side is the wrong side. But I have statistics, this from The Ringer. Since 2017, most errors in Major League Baseball. Rafael Devers, 141. Woof. He has 16 more than the next player. He's a minus 62 defensive run saved. He finished 81st of 82 qualifiers. Now, do I still think he can play third base and Bregman plays second this year? And having Trevor Story, knock on wood, healthy at shortstop? I'd like to see it. The other thing is this. They can't trade Rafael Devers. Like, I think we need to stop those trade things, but if this is irreconcilable, what are you going to get for a guy that's can't be a third baseman and doesn't want to be a DH and he stinks at third base? But he doesn't have the answers. He hasn't given it much thought. He's open to listening, though, moving forward. The DH thing, this is not good for the Red Sox, even though I think they have all the leverage here to make this thing happen. I do. And I mentioned contracts. You all understand. It's relatable, right? You sign a contract, and a new guy comes in, and it doesn't matter what you signed. I just want to let you know this. When it comes to Devers, you can look at the fine print, but there is this thing called the restricted list. And a player on that restricted list does not count against the roster. Right? He can stay there as long. Doesn't get paid. Doesn't matter about your service time. None of that. So whatever Devers has planned, the Red Sox have all the leverage. Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. That's the number if you want to jump aboard. I just wanted to give you some of those defensive numbers. Another thing I wanted to mention is Rafael Devers really hasn't been a DH. Like, he's done it less than 10 times a season. So he's never really ever been a DH. He's never done it. So to think that he can just get off third base and be a DH, like, there's two sides. Actually, there's three sides to every story. That's what I say. Three sides to every story. I think Devers has a legitimate beef to want to be the third baseman when Bregman is willing to play second. Is Campbell starting the year in the minors what's best for the team? Might be. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. A lot to get into on this Devers stuff throughout the night. We'll certainly hammer that out. We'll take your calls. And we've talked about the Four Nations. We've talked about the Devers stuff. Man, last night, tough night for the NBA. I just want to get into that. We'll do that. Coming up next, I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Joe Murray. See people in our chat. What's up? We've got 120 people tonight, guys. It's a holiday. So we have people in there. Tom G, Russ Fox, Brokerage, babe, what's up? We got a basketball Jones in there. Tom G, Wayno! J Buck, what's up, man? I met J Buck and his family. Good peoples. Really good people. D Leaper. We got a lot of regulars in here tonight. Einbein, what is up, my man? We had a guy getting on me because he thought I was criticizing Rafael Devers for his weight, but I also said that if he was 400 pounds, I don't care. I also don't care if he smokes a pound of weed before the game. I don't care if he smokes cigarettes before the game. If you hit 300 and hit 30 home runs, I don't care what you are. When they signed Pablo Sandoval, I didn't care. I never once fat shamed that guy. Never. So, again, I don't care. I didn't do it for Luka Doncic either. But Devers said he was 240. My only thing is, if you want to be a third baseman, can you show it? Like, I want to look at him and be like, man, I think he can play third base. So, Skaz, please don't think I'm fat shaming. I'm the last guy to fat shame. But Devers, does he look it? Does he look like Skaz, like you asked, does he look like a guy who worked all offseason to be the third baseman?
I would say no.
No. Is he gonna hit 30 home runs? Yes. Do I want Devers on the team? Yes. Is Devers the face of the team? Sure. I'm starting to question him now, though.
Do you think this is a real problem, though? Because I don't.
I don't. This is what I mean. I think Theo's now in here. His fingerprints are all over this, man. They're all over it. 2 champions. 2. Bregman and Devers won, right? Can't you get them together to work? You guys have won championships. You have a good team and I'll get into more Bregman stuff, but Bregman cares about the future. Even though his contract might not be here. Might not be here. But I'm not worried. But you know what, though? I will say this. Yesterday, I went viral, Skaz. I was like, I'm not a reporter. Because I'm not a reporter. But I hear a lot of things. I get people hitting me up hey, Joe, I can't run with it. I'm not going to go call the other team to source it, all right? But I heard that Devers was upset. I heard it. He was there. He left. He's been there the whole entire time. Trade happens, and he just goes home to see his family all of a sudden, huh? He has every right to do that, by the way.
I think it's a good thing he's upset.
Yes.
He cares.
Yep. I heard Michael Hawley on today earlier. My man, Michael Hawley, brought up the John Valentin Nomar angle. Valentin was a damn good shortstop. He was the guy that was the triple play game, A-Rod's first game. Valentin was great, but you know what? This kid Nomar was the future. He didn't want to move to third base. They sent him home for a night, came back the next day. Guess where he was playing? Third base. Like, it's just, that's what happens. These guys, in baseball, I don't know what it is, Skaz, but there are these guys that this is my position, I'm not moving. And it took a lot of guys to do it. I know Cal Ripken did it. A-Rod did it, right? A lot of stars move positions. It's just what happens.
Another thing that kind of stood out to me today from Alex Cora's tone and the team's kind of positioning on this, saying, Chaim Bloom isn't here anymore. They want Christian Campbell on the opening day roster. They want Christian Campbell to play second base on opening day. And I think that's a very good thing.
Do you think they want to start the clock on him already, though?
If you asked me last week, I would have said no.
Yeah.
They're going to slow play it. They're going to try and get the extra year, all that. But if Rafael Devers is your DH, Bregman is your third baseman, that second base should be Christian Campbell's.
Did you see who was there today? It was just him and Cora. And Cora wants to work. It looked like he wanted to work on his transfer. And it looked like they were showing transfer motions on like, hey, try to, instead of catching the ball in your glove, try to catch it on the outside of your glove with a better transfer. All right, so I was watching some of the videos today, but they want him to get all the reps there, Skaz. Weird take on this one. Ceddanne Rafael is destined for center field. I still think he'd be a great platoon guy. I do. Late in games, be that defensive guy, maybe even a pinch runner late in games. But, dude, he can play there. He can play short. He can play the outfield. I think the team has more. I didn't feel like this a week ago. But this Bregman move, I feel like they're very versatile. And Devers can help. Real quick, I wanted to get to this. Did you watch the NBA All-Star games, guys?
No.
I watched Saturday Night Live's 50-year anniversary, and I give it a 9 out of 10. I will get into it later. I thought it was awesome. I'm a fan, so maybe I'm a sucker for it. I didn't understand it. I did watch. I'll get to this in a minute here, but I want to just get this one off my chest real quick because the NBA All-Star game got beat last night. It got beat on Christmas Day too, right? Football beat it. I think everything Adam Silver's doing right now to try to change the game isn't working. The in-season tournament, it's not working. They asked him this weekend, hey, what's one thing you think to improve the game? Players stop arguing about officials. I think the things he's trying to do, I like him. I think he's been a good commissioner. I do. It ain't working, bro. And when you have some of your top stars, Draymond Green's probably, would you say he's one of the most vocal people in all of basketball?
Unfortunately, yes.
Do you think his words were wrong yesterday?
I think
the words meaning the game sucks.
No,
I think the younger players shouldn't be touching the floor.
I think he's right, but I also think he's a massive part of the problem. Same with LeBron. And the LeBron thing, there's LeBron sat out.
We'll get into the LeBron thing in a bit.
I have thoughts on that as well, on why he didn't announce it until when he did.
The NBA game right now it's beyond fixing, I think. I think they're trying everything right now. I will say this, having Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on your team, it's pretty good, right? That take worked over the weekend. I've been saying that you'll always win when you have those two. Should Jason Tatum have won MVP of the game?
If it wasn't where it was, Joe, he probably would have. But I have no problem. I don't care.
I'm not gonna do that. I don't care. I don't care, but I didn't watch.
Was he the best player on the floor? Yes, probably.
But when I saw the
from what I saw,
when I saw the box score, I went, looks like Tatum was the best player on the game, huh? And then I looked at it and I went, Steph Curry won again. Hey, by the way, I wanted to share this one. There's been a lot of talks about three-peats, right? We had a three-peat this weekend. Mac McClung, baby.
Whoa.
No. Really? I'm being dead serious. Some people might think it's bad for the NBA that this guy is your slam dunk champion. I think he's saved this thing. I think Mac McClung has saved the NBA dunk contest. And dude, it might already be dead, but any pulse, he still gives it. For real, he had good dunks. I watched. He jumped over the highest part of a car.
Look, I don't want to, diminish it because
he's a G League player. I'll give you that.
He's not in the league that's holding the dunk contest,
That's
Joe.
the problem.
Yes.
The guys in the league aren't participating. So I feel like we should praise Mac McClung for this. He should be praised. Three-peats, right? Chiefs get no three-peat. The Patriots didn't get a three-peat, but you know what? Give me Mac McClung three-peat. Up there with the Islanders and the Bulls and the Lakers and the Yankees.
Joe, you know why I'm hesitant to give Mac McClung a ton of credit? Would you like to hear the last 10 slam dunk contest winners?
Yes.
Let's start in 2016, Joe. Zach LaVine. Good player.
Good.
How about Glenn Robinson III? No. Donovan Mitchell in 2018.
Sure, big name.
There you go. Then from 2018 on, Joe, Hami Diallo.
Who?
Won in 2019. Derek Jones Jr., 2020.
He's somewhere.
Anthony Simons, 2021.
Uh-huh.
Obi Toppin in 22.
I know who he is.
And then from 23 to 25, Mac McClung. This product stinks. Did Mac McClung do a good job? Sure. I don't care. This is the NBA's fault. This is LeBron James's fault. Giannis Antetokounmpo, whoever you want to blame. The stars of the NBA.
Yes. But I don't think, listen, it's dead. If you want to say it's dead, everybody, it's dead. I just don't think we should be trashing Mac McClung because I think he's the only thing that they have. And if that's sad, that probably is realistic. It's sad. But I don't think we should crap on Mac McClung here. I think right now he's the best dunker in the world, Skess. I'm serious. He's the best dunker in the world. And he's not even in the NBA. This is why the game sucked. Nobody watched. It's horrible. Man, I don't know how they're going to bounce back from this. All right, we got to hit the break. More coming up here on the other side here. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Telford.
Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Full show tonight, everyone. It's a holiday. I did yesterday morning with Matt McCarthy. We were loaded all day long. We got snowed in, too, so it was... I don't want to complain about it. But thanks to my next-door neighbor, Eric, who snow-blowed my driveway. And then I said, hey, do you want a bottle of tequila? And he goes, nah, I'm good, man. I go, all right, man, well, you sure about that? Should I just leave it in the snow for you? should I just leave it right there, man? If it's out there, you want it. If it's gone, it's gone. Well, anyways. We got some calls. People want to talk to us. Let's do it. 617-779-0985. We got Pat in Braintree. Pat.
Hey, what's going on, Joe?
Hey.
I got a few things. I got even more to talk about now that I've been waiting for a few. But you got me excited for the Sox this year with Bregman now. Devin's got to get his head out of his tush. Listen to this deal. I got 4 games tickets for me and my 6-year-old who's obsessed with sports right now. He gets to run the bases at one of the games. He gets a Jaron Duran bobblehead at another. One of them Sox Yankees the last week in September. And the 2 tickets, 4 games, $340 after fees. I haven't seen a deal at Fenway like that in friggin' a decade. Jump over USA Canada and stick with my kid here. I got tickets for me and my kid to go, $225. Mm-hmm. Those tickets are going for like $2,500 now.
Yeah, man.
At what point do I cut that off?
You mean you want to hedge out of the tickets?
Yeah, well, no, I don't. I think the memories are worth $5,000. You know what I mean? But are they worth 10? You know what I mean?
No, I don't think they'll get to that point. But
all right.
I mean, dude, but here's the deal, though. Like, let me give you last year I went to Army Navy at Gillette, right? The experience alone was priceless. I watched people jump out of airplanes and parachutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, the game was awesome, and I took the over, and it landed on a safety at the end of the game. So, like, it was a great experience. When are you ever going to experience USA Canada
Exactly.
live?
All right, done. All right, and last, but definitely not least, this is my topic. I've actually tried calling it a few times. I don't even know if I can talk about it, but I picked up my wings right before Super Bowl Sunday, and let me tell you, dude, Doobie is a mastermind. I got to know, though, what's your pick of wings with Doobie?
I don't know, man. I love wingy, though. We all know I like the wingies. Let's talk to Benny. He's in Oxford. Hey, Benny.
Hey, Joe. What's going on, man?
What's up, buddy?
What a weekend, man. What a great weekend for NHL. What a crappy weekend for NBA. So I told you I worked the bar in Worcester, and Saturday night that happened. And when USA Canada popped on.
Can you email me what bar you work at?
Yeah, I'll send you that. I'll email
All
you.
right, cool. Let me know. Let me know about that.
I'll do that, man. But the place went wild. First off, I was actually pissed that we had so many people there because Saturday with the weather, I wanted to get home early. But at least the USA-Canada game made up for it with the 3 fights in 9 seconds. Like, that was insane. I don't think I've ever seen that like that.
Imagine if the NBA got that this weekend, just 3 fights in a row. That'd be awesome.
Right away. But then, at the same time, in the NBA, you have clowns, the Spurs being clowns, trying to do a technicality to win the whatever skills challenge that they call it now. That same time, you're having NHL having 3 fights and the Four Nations just completely blowing you out of the water. And then last night's All-Star game or competition, whatever the hell it's called now, you have 25 minutes of actual gameplay and 3-4 hours of Kevin Hart talking crap. I had it on in the background while I was working, and it was just awful.
I honest to God, being dead serious, I have watched, dude, I used to bet on like the skills challenge and everything. I didn't care at all about NBA weekend. I had the USA game on. When it was the end of the second period, I was fading. I flipped over and I saw Mac McClung jump over. I thought it was a good dunk. I really did. He took a ball, did it kind of like a reverse style over the highest part of the car. It was a good dunk. So I mean, from what the little I saw, I want to put respect on Mac McClung's name because I thought he was creative.
I can respect that. Stephon Castle, I want to see him more. Like, that guy's athleticism
and he's a
the damn
star.
world.
And the thing is, you should know who he is from watching UConn if you watch college basketball. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and he plays with Wemby. And by the way, Wemby and Chris Paul got disqualified. And basically, Wemby said he was the one who came up with the idea. I have watched Chris Paul rat people out for untucked shirts and all sorts of things. There's no way Wemby came up with that idea. You have poisoned Wemby.
Agreed. So I agree with that so much. Also, I tweeted you and Scaz last night, too. Like, how great was it? How funny is it for Boston fans, and now Bruins fans now, because now with the game in Boston at TD Garden, that they had to be happy, or whoever watched it, had to be happy with the Kyrie Irving to Jaylen Brown alley-oop last night being one of the better plays. And now we have to root for Kachuk Thursday.
Can you believe that? We have to root? Yeah, I know, right? That's funny.
Oh,
man.
It's great. It's great.
Hey, should have Tatum won the MVP? Like, is Tatum? This is Scaz. We can save this for another night, but Benny, I'll ask you: is Tatum and Brown receiving the short end of the stick because of the end of Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant?
Oh yeah, no, that I would co-sign that. Yeah, last night.
This isn't me complaining about Celtics. This is true. This is about two humans that are great at what they do. But yet they kind of take the back seat for the guys who kind of ruined the game.
Yeah, I think they even caught it last night. Steph looking at Tatum saying Lifetime Achievement Award. Ooh. I don't know if you caught that, but they caught Steph saying that to Tatum when he was on his way to grab his trophy.
That's respect.
So, Steph, but I agree. Tatum and Brown getting the short end of the stick. Another couple years.
Save that for another night, Benny. Appreciate you, bro.
I'll call in.
All right, thank you, guys. Yeah, well, say how'd the Green Teamers go last night? I believe it was you and Sean Silver last night, Skaz?
Yes, I was joined by the great Sean Silver. I'm very happy to have him alongside, get his thoughts on the Celtics first half. So that's on YouTube.
Did he give any 90s basketball Celtics references?
We were getting a lot of Isaiah Thomas and some Pistons references from back in the day. Oh, yeah, Sean Silver.
Sean's
he
like
was
a
on
historian of... He'll be like, man, this is getting real grindy, like Kevin Gamble in 1995. I'd be like, Kevin Gamble, man, I wish I bought that jersey, Gamble.
Yeah, probably still a couple floating out there.
Never thought about that. I think he was 34 before Paul Pierce, by the way. P.S. You hear me just say P.S.? Justin's in Lynn. Justin!
Hey, Joe, I have a solution for Rafael Devers. And I know you said he's a $331 third baseman, but he needs to do what's best for the team. And if he needs to switch positions, he can play some games at third, but go to first and help the team out. This is a team sport. This is not Rafael Devers' sport. This is a team sport, and he needs to do what's best for the team.
Don't you think, though, that if he was going to do that, they should have told him that before the offseason?
Yes, I do. But Joe, I just feel like Joe. I think they should have told him. But I also think you need to, really you need to really get what's best for this team. And if you want to win a world championship, you need to do what's best and help out the team and play some games at third, but also play at first. That's my solution.
All right, Justin, appreciate you. Can I just give you a take on first baseman? Okay, listen. I never played at the highest level. Okay, I was 6'3". I played first base. How tall is Rafael Devers? He's got to be like 5'11", right? Like 6 feet to like make him feel better.
He's listed at 6 feet.
There
Joe.
is no way he's 6 feet. Do you know that back in my day, years ago when I first got into radio, guys, the Red Sox were having some trouble with first baseman. And someone called into a show that I was doing and said, Dustin Pedroia should play first. And I just chuckled and I crushed the person. How tall was Dustin Pedroia? No, don't even look it up.
I'll tell you, he's 5'5" to 5'6". I don't care what he's listed at.
Like when they used to have like the pitcher would throw to first and Pedroia was the one who covered the bag, bro. I was always scared. So I'm not a heightist. This isn't me talking about how tall I am. 6'3". Okay, yes. I bet you Cassis is 6'4", 6'5". For all the people who say Devers can play first, I think he's too short. I don't know. Now I got to look up shortest first baseman MLB. Okay, here we go. Shortest first baseman. Who is the shortest of them all? Oh, wow. They even have the average height of player by position. Did you know that? Never knew that. Wow, here we go. Okay, let's get first baseman here. Ooh, wow. The tallest ever was 6'6". But the average height of a first baseman in Major League Baseball is 6'3". Actually, it's 6'2" inches and 6'2.06" inches. He's too short. He's too short. Move him to first. He's too short. Too short. Isn't there a rapper named Too Short? How would you put him at first, guys? Because I listen. I think it's always good having an extra glove around. I think he's too short.
Too short is listed at 5'7", Joe.
The rapper. I'm trying to think if there's any other first basemen in the league that are short. Like, I can't think of any. There is an all-small team. Can look this up here. Okay, let's see. Ty France from the Mariners was 5'11" at first base. So has it happened before? Yes. But my take, too short. I'll leave it at that. 617-779-0985. Joe Math. Tackles need to have 34-inch arms. That's right. First basemen need to be 6'2.26" and over. Joe Math. Hey, let's do a little bit of football coming up here on the other side. I'm Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more.
right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Well,
watch out.
You know, I was just talking about guys who could play first base. And, well, I'll tell you this much. I think size matters. If there's one thing we've learned on the night show here, Skaz, size matters. I think Devers is too short to play first base. And then everyone's going to tell me about John Kruk being only 5'10", and Euclid was 6'1", and all that. Devers is too short. I'll leave it at that. Speaking of some size, let's go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline right now. We'll welcome in John Sarianides. He's from New England Football Journal. John, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I've got plenty of size, my friend, so don't you worry.
Well, I was talking about Devers moving to first, and he's too short. But, you know, there's a lot of size when it comes to offensive linemen and that arm length, man. By the way, as you're a coach, you know, how important is the length of arms for tackles at the next level?
I mean, I think it's important, but I don't put that much stock into it. And I'm from the Dante Scarnecchia school, where it's more about vertical length and how a guy projects from the waist down in terms of his ability to bend, how athletic he is, how good the footwork is, how good is he in terms of his hips, knees, and ankles. That's the stuff I look at. I know a lot's going to be made of it, but when you look at a guy like Will Campbell, and let's face it, the reason we're talking about arm length is Will Campbell, to a degree Kelvin Banks as well. But when you look at Will Campbell, man, he checks off a lot of those other boxes. So for me, when you look at the production, when you look at the fundamentals, when you look at the other measurables and you look at the other physical components of his game, I can live with that arm length. It's going to be talked about ad nauseum for the next 2 weeks and beyond. But to me, it's not a big deal. I think it's being made more of a bigger deal than it is. And it is important to some offensive line coaches. I just don't think it's as important. I think if the athleticism, the footwork, the fundamentals are there, you can make up for shorter arms in the NFL. It can be more challenging because of teams playing more wide five techniques. But for me, I think it's going to be overstated in the coming days and weeks. And I don't think it's a fair evaluation of Campbell. He's a pretty darn good football player. I don't think we should just judge him rather on that arm length.
All right, John. Well, the Patriots have the 4th overall pick. Before we get into like who are the players and all that, Josh McDaniels will be running the offense. To me, at least, I think he likes a tackle that's that Nate Solder type, right? The taller, leaner type. They've had guys like that recently, or tried to have guys like that, but they've also had the bulky guy. What type of line does Josh McDaniels want to run, and what other changes with Josh McDaniels being the offensive coordinator should people expect this year from the Patriots offense?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. They would prefer those taller, longer tackles that are athletic, that can pass set and block speed rushers, but also have the athleticism to get out on screens and get out on second-level blocks in the run game. So I think that's what they're going to be looking for in terms of their offensive tackles. And to a degree, this is what they're going to be looking for across the board. Again, going back to Scarnecchia, that's what they wanted when he was here. You want those athletic-type guys that can come off of double teams, play in space, get on blocks, and sustain them. I think that's what they're going to be looking for here. I think as far as scheme is concerned, look, I think you're going to see a blending of schemes. Is it going to be what we saw when McDaniels was here before, the vaunted Perkins-Earhart offense? I think you're going to see a lot of that, but I do think you're going to see them blend some of the modern West Coast offense. That's why Thomas Brown was brought in. I think you're going to see more of an emphasis on outside zone. I think you're going to see more of an emphasis on mid-zone and slice. I think you're going to see more of an emphasis on toss plays and getting the ball on the perimeter. I think you're going to see more of that stuff as opposed to strictly what they were before, which was inside zone, outside zone, then a bunch of man gap runs. I think you're going to see them marry the modern West Coast offense to what I called the East Coast offense when the Patriots were here, where it was more of a timing offense, power football running game, and getting on people and sustaining drives. I think you're going to see them blend philosophies here this year. And my expectation is, Joe, that as long as the right pieces are in place, I expect them to be much better than they've been offensively the last 3 years.
Well, I hope so. Right? Drake May's in there now. I guess I should ask, what do you think they'll incorporate with Drake May now? And what does it mean for Pop Douglas? And, to be fair, this is one of my questions regarding McDaniels. He's never, ever been successful without Brady and or Belichick. Now he's not going to have Brady and or Belichick, and he has a quarterback that with a skill set he's never had before. So that's why I ask you, how does he help Drake May?
Well, I think it's about getting him comfortable and getting him in rhythm. And look, I know that our media brethren would love to see them run more RPOs and be more exotic on offense and use a variety of shifts and motions and double motion and all this stuff. All that stuff is good. But for me, the one thing I'm looking at here is the development of Drake May. I'm looking at it from a bare bones perspective here. How can you get him comfortable? How can you get him into a rhythm? How can you get him on the same page with his receivers and his tight ends and his backs? That's what's important to me right now. All that other stuff, the window dressing with the motion and the shifting, the RPOs, all that stuff is great. But at the end of the day, how do you get him into a rhythm? How do you get him comfortable? And what does your base offense look like? Because that's going to be more important. One of the reasons why I liked the McDaniels hire is because they're going to go back to being more of a multiple offense that's predicated on personnel, formations, and being game plan specific. Now, you can blend in some RPOs, you can blend in some screen run options, you can blend in the motion stuff, but the bottom line is I think that this kid needs consistency. Consistency is going to be important if he's going to develop consistent coaching, and a consistent philosophy on offense. I think if you have that, you can incorporate some of that other stuff and maximize his ability.
All right, John Sarianides joining us here from New England Football Journal. Just talking about the Pats in general and the pick. Who do you want? Who do you think? What process will they go through? Will they entertain trades? What area or what should be the number one target for the Patriots when it comes to the at least the first pick in the draft?
I think to me it's all about the offensive or defensive line. I think if Abdul Carter is gone, I think if there's a level of conviction about Mason Graham, you take him at 4. Otherwise, if Will Campbell is sitting there, you take him and you move on. And I know there's a lot of people that are going to, like we talked about earlier, get hung up on the arm length that he could potentially slide inside and be a guard. Fine. If he has to slide inside and play guard for you in a year or 2 or 3, and he's a Pro Bowl caliber guard, I can live with that. And I know some people are going to say that's not what I want with the 4th pick in the draft. Now, are there going to be trade possibilities there? Sure, and you should explore those because you can potentially get a player you're targeting 3 or 4 picks later. But if you stick and pick, for me, you have to fortify either the offensive line or the defensive line. I think if Abdul Carter is sitting on the board there at 4, you got to take him because I think he comes in and he makes an instant impact. I think that Campbell and Graham can as well, but I don't entertain taking a receiver. Even Travis Hunter, if he's sitting there, I still lean towards taking either an offensive tackle or an edge or defensive tackle before I take a Travis Hunter. I just think that they need to be better up front. We saw it in the Super Bowl. You win up front. You win with a dominant offensive line and running the football, and you win with a front that can get consistent pressure without having to bring pressure. I think Mike Vrabel wants to build this team that way, and I think ultimately that's going to be their focal point with the 4th pick in the draft.
All right, John. Now, there's a lot of new staff members, coaches on the Patriots staff that were formerly head coaches. Do you see any player that could be a free agent or a cut or available that the Patriots could target that has been with one of these other coaches?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, Cooper Kupp comes to mind. He's available. The Rams have made it known that they want to trade him. He has a relationship with Thomas Brown. He's certainly someone that can be available. Jeffrey Simmons, Tennessee Titans defensive tackle. Obviously, he was drafted by Vrabel and John Robinson in Tennessee. He's expressed his affinity for Vrabel. He's a potential player to watch. So there are several players out there that would definitely be interested in playing for the Patriots that have ties to this offensive staff. And I think that that's important here. I mean, Even a guy like Todd Downing, he coached with the Jets last year. If, let's say, a Devontae Adams is released by the Jets, or even an Alan Lazard, those guys were coached under Downing. They might be interested in coming here and playing for the Patriots and playing for him as their position coach. So you're always going to have players that have ties to coaches, and you're going to have some players that felt that certain coaches got more out of them than others. I would think that if some of these players become available, the Patriots will certainly be in on them. And look, let's face it, you saw the news today, obviously, the Cincinnati Bengals planning on tagging T. Higgins. I never bought into the idea that T. Higgins was ever going to be a Patriot. I'm going to maintain what I've said all along, Joe, which is I think the Patriots' best bet to upgrade at several positions, but specifically wide receiver, is the trade market. I think they need to be in on a Cooper Kupp. They need to be in on a Deebo Samuel. Heck, if A.J. Brown somehow becomes available, which I don't see, you need to get in on him. So I think that's their best avenue to rebuild the wide receiver room and add an impact veteran. It's not really going to be in free agency.
I was going to ask about Chris Godwin, will be a free agent. Just feel like he's a guy. Anybody they get, John, I want them to be here when Drake May's in his prime. You know what I mean? Like Cooper Kupp, I like the idea of it because there's been no one in that wide receiver room that's been a leader, right? Like those guys don't know how to be pros. And I know. And I question Pop Douglas in this offense. I do. Like I don't know if he's a slot in the Josh McDaniels offense. I want them to like pretty much identify a guy. And then he's going to be here along the way with Drake May, not just here for a year or two.
No, I agree with you. And the thing with Pop Douglas that is interesting is that the production hasn't been there consistently. So in many ways, 2 years in, you've seen flashes with him, but you don't really know what you have. Now, in theory, in this system where the slot receiver is emphasized and they find ways to get him open, especially outside and away from the core of the formation. I'm curious to see how Douglas is used, and I'm curious to see if his production improves next season. You would think it will. But, again, this is a team that while you have nice complementary pieces potentially at receiver, you don't have that alpha. You don't have that guy that in a key situation in a game, in a key second down, in a key third down, you can get that guy the ball and he can move the chains or possibly score. They don't have that. They're going to need to find it. And again, I think their best avenue is going to be the trade market because let's say a guy like Devontae Adams ends up free, and I think he will be. He's going to want to play for a contender. At this point in his career at 32 years old, he's not going to want to come to a situation like this with a second-year quarterback. Realistically, he's going to want to go somewhere where he can produce and win. He's going to be a popular target potentially. So I think if you want to get a player of that caliber, though, like I said, you're going to have to do it in the trade market. They desperately need it. They need that veteran presence in that receiver room.
Where I was going with the other coaching staff, like you were at BC a ton this year. What impact did Doug Marrone have on that team? Like I think of Cam Robinson would be a guy, maybe the kid Wills, Jedrick Wills, a former first-round pick. Maybe he's a guy that can get cut. They could try to rebuild just to that degree. But you saw Marrone at BC this year. They have, three guys that could go, in the top 3 rounds there. He did a really good job with BC. Can he carry it over to the Pats?
Yeah, it was hard to tell what his role was there. Matt Applebaum is their offensive line coach, and he's a terrific line coach. Doug was more of an observer, and he was more in a consultant analyst type of role at Boston College. It was really hard to tell what his impact was on the program. Obviously, very good friends with Bill O'Brien. They go back a ways. But for me, I think that you mentioned Cam Robinson. I think Cam Robinson is probably in that second tier of veteran offensive line free agents that they could target. I mean, in a perfect world, you land a Ronnie Stanley or Trey Smith. But if you don't, Cam Robinson would be in that next group. He has familiarity with Marrone. Marrone drafted him in Jacksonville. You mentioned Jedrick Wills from the Cleveland Browns. Played for Marrone when Marrone was the offensive line coach at Alabama. He knows him well. So, again, to your point, I think that these guys could potentially be attracted here. I love this hire. I think Marrone is exactly what they need. He's 60 years old. He's a veteran coach. He has a presence about him. He knows the area, by the way. He was the offensive line coach at Northeastern in 1994, so he's been around here, obviously, aside from his time at Boston College. But he's exactly what they needed, Joe. They need some veteran stability along the offensive line. It's been a revolving door with what they've had there with Peters and Clem and Carmen Brasillo and Cole Popovich. It's nice to have that veteran voice like they had when Scar was here. I think Marone's going to do a nice job there. He's been around. He knows how to handle veteran NFL players. I think he's going to be a big asset to this offense, and I think he's going to help this offensive line develop.
All right, one more, John. One gap, two gap. They're going in a new direction here. We know what Bill liked to do. Now, if Vrabel's in there, can you just explain what the differences will be to our listeners?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more of an attacking one gap up the field, reset the line of scrimmage and get pressure on the quarterback type of front. It's not going to be so much about hand placement and reading hats and playing off of that. It's going to be more about being aggressive and getting up the field. More of what you saw in the Super Bowl from the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're going to play a ton of nickel. I think they'll play some dime. You could potentially see them play some three safety stuff as well. But I think they're going to be predominantly in a 40 front, and I think they're going to get after people. I think they're going to place an emphasis on edge pressure and getting guys on the edge that can get consistent pressure. You're going to see some exotics from them. You're going to see some bluffs. They're going to mug. They're going to bail. They're going to do a lot of different things with their looks. But in the end, it's going to be all about getting base pressure and getting after the quarterback. They don't want to have to sell the farm on every down to get there. They're going to emphasize finding guys that are athletic, explosive, that can get off the ball, reset the line of scrimmage, and get pressure. I think it's going to be a different scheme from what we're used to seeing the last 20-plus years with Bill Belichick and Gerard Mayo.
The bend but don't break is over.
Something to that effect, yes.
Yeah. So I did an article on the next halftime show. It's in San Francisco. I think you know who I think should be the halftime show, right?
Weezer?
No. Metallica.
They should. Now, I have a lot to say about this, so go ahead and then I'll say my piece.
No, that's it. It's in San Francisco. It should be Metallica.
It should be Metallica, but here's my question to you now. Metallica and I go back to 1986. Is there a sellout factor there, though? That's my only concern.
No.
Have they?
No.
Okay.
Did the Who sell out?
At this stage of the game, it doesn't matter.
Did the Who sell out? Did Tom Petty sell out?
No. I agree with you. I don't think that they did.
People think they sold out in 1991.
True. Fair point. Well, there are people that thought they sold out after Injustice for All was released.
True.
So it goes even further back than that. But I agree with you. I'm just saying, I think a lot of people are going to look at this that are diehard old school Metallica fans and say, okay, they have officially jumped the shark here now. They have officially sold out. They're doing Super Bowl halftime shows. I agree with you.
I think I'd like Weezer if it was not Metallica.
I've seen Weezer twice. They're excellent live. Now, the other thing is this. I'm all in on this. The only thing I'll say is there's going to be other acts, obviously. Who do you pair them up with? I don't want to see Metallica and Miley Cyrus or something stupid like that. I can live with a Post Malone, a Chris Stapleton, something like that. But don't mix and match with someone that doesn't make sense for them. I don't want to see that. That would be that would piss me off.
I'd have to think.
It's got to be the right combination.
I'd have to think about that.
Anyways. We have some time.
What else you got going on, man? I saw a bunch of new coaches. Hey, what? Everett's got a new coach. I saw there's all new coaches everywhere, man.
There's new coaches everywhere, and Everett got a good one in Rob DiLoretto. He's an Everett guy.
He was there, right?
There
yeah.
Years back. Yeah, he was there a few years back when 21-3 had a really good run. Program is in tough shape right now, but Rob played there. He also played baseball there. Him coming back is a great move for Everett High, and I think Rob, in due time, is going to get that program back on track where they're competing for state titles.
There you go, man. Well, I wanted to catch up. I didn't realize today Devers would have all this, I was like, hey, let's do some football today. Let's do this. Let's start looking ahead to the draft and everything. And then, Devers wanted to say
let me ask you this. I didn't see his comments in terms of on television when he made them. Did he make them through an interpreter, or is he speaking English now?
Actually, half and half, but when they asked him the question, he said no.
Yeah. It's too bad. I have high hopes for this Red Sox team, but this is not the way I was hoping things would start off with this team.
You excited for the Four Nations? We had Anson Carter on earlier.
Yeah, and I watched him earlier today on TV. I am excited. I think it's a really cool concept. Look, All-Star games have gone to crap. James and I were talking about it when he called. They've gone to crap. Really, in all four major sports, baseball's really the only one that's still somewhat relevant. The NFL, forget it. I don't even know why they bother doing what they're doing now. I think if you want to make it interesting again, you got to do what the NHL did with this Four Nations format. I would not be surprised if the NBA copied and did something like that next year. It wouldn't shock me in the least bit. They need to do something because that All-Star game sucks.
We had fun. We were watching the NFL one. I mean, it is a joke, but I mean, at least everyone's in on it.
I agree with you, but the only thing with that is that's hard to do, man. It's hard to do after a long season to ask these guys to play in an All-Star game. It's almost the NFL would be better off not doing anything at all. I don't think anybody would care if they didn't do anything. But nonetheless, that's not going to happen. You know that. They'll do this and gives them a chance to throw the Mannings in your face another time. And, you know, it gives them a chance to have some control year-round of the calendar, which obviously matters to the league. But maybe the NBA will do something like this next year. I think it'd be a pretty cool format. I think the other night was awesome. I could do without the fighting. I'm not a big fighting guy in hockey. But my one criticism of the Four Nations thing is I'd like to see Russia be involved in it in some capacity the next time they do it, because you got to have them involved in this. There's too much Russian talent in the game for them not to be playing in this tournament.
All right, he's John Sarianides, New England Football Journal, commenting on everything from size to Russians.
Next up, Russian dressing.
All right,
doesn't
John.
go with steak.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll catch up when the draft and the combine get going. We'll get you back in the rotation, and you know, there's going to be some. Hey, we need the Red Sox to be good. If not, we're going to be doing a lot of draft stuff.
Well, that just means I'll be on more. So you know what? I'm changing course. Hopefully, the Red Sox suck.
he's John Sarianides, everybody. New England Football Journal. Thanks, John. Appreciate you, bud. Take care.
See you, man.
Yep. Bye bye. All right, we went everywhere with John. Size matters, everybody. That's what I heard. All right, we'll get to the headlines here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub.
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports. We got In or Out coming up in a minute. Let's take a couple of calls. Andrew's in Attleboro. Hey, Andrew.
What's up, Jeff?
Yo.
So I just find it funny when we're talking about reach, especially with the Red Sox. How is this not a stat that they don't track, right? I also saw a dude from a 2020 prospect for the Indians had this gigantic reach. He could put his hands on the floor, reach the top of a door frame. John Olerud had reach. Randy Johnson had reach. It doesn't matter if you got a good infield, right? But I think Devers was probably a little more thinking he would go the DH route and not be bumped to first. So just wondering your thoughts.
Well, I mean, he might have reach. I mean, I don't think he's ever played the position in his life. I'm being dead serious. People think it's easier to play playing first base. Not easy. I mean, we saw it here. Remember Schwarber couldn't play it for a while. Good athlete. Why not embrace the DH role? DHs don't make the money he's going to make. He'll be the only DH who makes that kind of money. And here, it will be tolerated. But the reach thing and all that, listen, he's not tall enough to play first base. You're going to give me Brock Holt play there once? Fine. You want to give Kevin Youkilis at least did it because they had Mike Lowe. And it worked, and he was good at it. But the transition to first, he's too short. Phil's in Plymouth. Hey, Phil.
Hey, how are you, Joe?
Good.
I'm just wondering, your guest said that he thinks that Abdul Carter will be gone at number 4. Is there any way, do you think if you dangled the number 4 pick in front of Jerry Jones, you could get Micah Parsons out of Dallas?
He's available, Phil. I think he's available. Would you do it?
I would do it, absolutely. Thanks, Joe.
All right, appreciate it. I think Micah Parsons is fantastic. If I had my choice between Micah Parsons and Garrett, the new scheme would probably be Myles Garrett. But, I mean, if we're talking about giving up a 4th overall pick, I mean, it's hard to give up talent, right? It's hard to overlook talent in some of these sports. But Micah Parsons, let's see, how old is Micah Parsons? He's got to be in his mid-20s, right? Micah Parsons is 25 years old. See, my thing is with Parsons, I feel though he could play multiple positions. I think he could play. He'd be like, I don't want to say Willie McGinnis type because he's not big enough. But man, could he ever play inside? He blitzes from there. Blitzes from everywhere. I would definitely do that move. Do I think they will? No. One more. Sam's in Needham. Hey, Sam.
Hey, what's happening, Joe?
You.
First, I want to shout you out real quick. I am the Hogman, and you gave my buddy Ronnie Lowe.
Ah, yes, Hogman.
Thank you for the tips on opening
is he really doing that? He's really opening up a beef shop?
He is very much considering it. He's a savvy businessman, so everything is on the table right now. But I think with your expert guidance, including for the listeners out there, Joe had an excellent idea to open a beef reward program. The more beefs you buy, you get a free one. Are we keeping it on the down low?
That was good. It was a good idea, right?
I think it's going to blow up soon, Joe. We'll definitely keep you in the loop on it.
Hey, listen, I used to live over in that area. I'm only 10 minutes away. So
you're a Swampscott man, right?
I lived there once in my life. I live in Peabody now.
That's right. Okay.
But listen, Marblehead though, woohoo, some good eats out there, bro.
Some fancy beefs. I think we can up the prices up there just a little bit.
Beef by the ocean.
You think we can go seafood as well, or should we go strictly beef?
Hey, whatever's in the budget, my man. A little beef and lobster tail. Whew. All right, we'll take a break. I'm Joe Murray. You got In or Out next here on the Sports Hub.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
Boy.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bengals said they're going to franchise T. Higgins, which means the Patriots' top free agent option is off the board. Four nations face off. Canada beat Sweden today 5-3. They'll take on Team USA. On Thursday night in the championship game, the Team USA is currently playing in just a few minutes. And they're not going to be without, they're going to be without Charlie McAvoy and a bunch of other people versus, Canada beat Finland. It's USA versus Sweden. Whatever. I'm Joe Murray. This headline has been brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss with a 98% customer satisfaction rating and thousands of 5-star reviews. The choice is clear. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Joe Murray, and I am in on In or Out.
Boston plays here.
Coming through the slot. Close shot. Save. Rebound. Score.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
Are you in or out? Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
Jam was worse than both of those. That new Space Jam was horrific. I know we're talking basketball movies right now. Blindside was very good.
I believe Kevin James did a movie where he did when Sean Payton's time off when he was like a high school coach or whatever. I believe Kevin James made a movie out of that.
Paul Blart?
Yeah, Paul Blart, the football.
Boston Consensus wants to know how Bird made me watch it. What do you do with Bird? And then I'll ask you what you would do. Next.
All right, Joe. I don't know if you're a Days of Thunder fan.
Ooh, Dick Trickle.
But it was announced that Tom Cruise and racing legend Jeff Gordon will be teaming up for a Days of Thunder sequel. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Tom Cruise and Jeff Gordon making a Days of Thunder sequel?
Drive past me, call my Jeff Gordon on with the black SS with the navigation. In. Oh, is it going to be like a... Wait, who is in that? Somebody famous. Is he still alive? The guy? Don't you put this on me, Ricky Bobby. Not that guy. No. Days of Thunder.
John C. Reilly is in Days of Thunder.
Yes, I know, but I know.
Don Simpson, is that who you're thinking of?
No. Who's the guy that was the...
Fred Dalton Thompson?
I think that's who it is. Why did I think it was somebody else? Robert Duvall. Whew. Oh, God, I don't want to talk about any of these people. Is Robert Duvall going to be in it?
He is 94 years old, Joe. I can't imagine he's going to be in it.
He was the consigliere to Michael Corleone. He's still alive. And then Michael Corleone said, "You're out." And then he helped him get off the trial. So if Robert Duvall's not in it, I don't know if it's going to be real. Maybe he'll like...
Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad, has announced that he is working on a new show. It will be a psychological sci-fi that explores the human condition in a surprising way. It is compared to classics like E.T. It is already wrapped filming and coming to Apple TV. Joe Murray, are you in or out on a new show from the creator of Breaking Bad?
In. Seahorn's going to be in there?
Yeah, Rhea Seehorn will be the star.
In. I've talked about this a million times, and in case you haven't heard me say it, I think Better Call Saul was better than Breaking Bad, and the reason why is because the writers of Breaking Bad made Better Call Saul. Now, I still think about the Breaking In. For those who don't know who the Road Dogg is, oh, you didn't know? Yo ass better call somebody. Do you know that, Trent? Have you ever heard the term, suck it? There you go. He knows it. The Road Dogg, Jesse James. Also known, if you remember Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett had a song when he got debuted in WWE. And he had a music video. Guess who really sang the song? Do you know why he's the Road Dogg? Because he was the roadie for Jeff Jarrett. And if you want to pull up the song, you can do it if you ever want to. But it's called I Can't Wait to Be Alone with My Baby Tonight.
So the Road Dog, not the same as the Road Warriors.
Not the same. The Road Warriors were the Legion of Doom. What a rush with the face paint and the football and the spikes.
Yeah, we played that last week, I believe.
But the Road Dog, I believe his name is Brian James, third-generation wrestler. Served our country as well. But he's the one who sang, well, I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight. He can sing, dude. And he got fired, too, by Vince. So it's great. You know what's so funny? Triple H and Shawn Michaels and D-Generation X for years tormented Vince McMahon. And now they're running the company. And one married the boss's daughter. Love that. Vince McMahon, part of the... yesterday I was talking about the Mount Rushmore of a-holes. And Matt McCarthy goes, Joe, there's just not enough space for that. Which is true. And...
All right, Joe. It is the Four Nations face-off at TD Garden tonight and Thursday night. And with that, TD Garden is offering 4 specialty menu items relative to the countries that are being represented. Joe will go through each one, starting off with Sweden. There is a Swedish meatball sandwich at the Garden. Joe, are you in or out?
In. This is like the jumbo home-cooked Swedish meatball, right?
I don't know if it's jumbo, Joe, but you have to imagine they're...
Someone just goes, there's not an evil bone in your body, but that DX McMahon laugh was diabolical. Anything else?
All right, Joe, you're going to have to bear with me on this one, but we will end... Yeah, bear with me on this one. For another food item, to begin its 40th season serving the University of Miami baseball fans, Mark Light Shake, which is apparently a very famous milkshake company down in the Miami area, was offering a promotional, I guess, milkshake, Joe, to honor their 40th season. It is vanilla ice cream, vanilla syrup, buffalo sauce, and blue cheese served with a chicken wing and a celery stick. Is basically what looks like... what do you get at breakfast there, Joe? Why can't I think of it?
Churro?
No, like the Bloody Mary. It's basically a milkshake Bloody Mary with a chicken wing and a celery stick coming out of it.
Okay, out on celery sticks. Just let's talk this out one more time.
Vanilla ice cream.
It's a chicken wing.
So it is.
Let's go backwards. It's a chicken wing.
It is a shake, Joe.
Oh, it's a shake. Okay.
It is a milkshake.
So no chicken wing.
Well, there is a chicken wing, Joe.
Okay, it's a shake
with vanilla ice cream.
With vanilla ice cream and
vanilla syrup, buffalo sauce, and blue cheese, served with a chicken wing, basically sticking out of the top of it, and a celery stick.
Okay, this one I'm not drinking. But you know what I am? I'm a dipper. Would I dip said chicken wing into this? Yes. You know what I'm getting here a little bit? Little icy hot. Feeling that?
A little bit the best of both worlds, Joe.
But you feeling me on that?
Yeah. Some contradictory flavors in there.
I would never put buffalo sauce and vanilla ice cream. Sorry, no. No, sorry. But now we got a little bit of vanilla ice cream with buffalo sauce with a little bit of ranch. Mix it all around. Dip it in a chicken wing. I'm in. I'd give it a try. I would not drink that shake. I would not drink that. So I'm out on drinking the shake. But everyone knows I'm a dipper. Dip. All right. Anything else tonight?
That is going to wrap up a Monday night edition of In or Out.
There was a lot there, man. I once you said celery stick, I said no. Out on garnish. I don't want your garnish. Out. Save the garnish. Leave the cannoli. Take the garnish. All right. Let's talk some hoops. Basketball, that is. We'll do that next with Bobby Krivitsky, Celtics insider. He'll talk to him next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Wow, that last segment got a lot of people's thoughts just going, huh? Who would have thought that talking about a milkshake with buffalo sauce and ranch with a chicken wing would really get everybody going? But hey, that's what you get here on the night show. You know what else we get on the night show? The best Celtics coverage in town. Let's go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline right now. Welcome in Bobby Krivitsky, Celtics reporter, does a lot of work for Forbes. I know you all over Bleacher Report as well. Bobby, how you doing tonight, bud?
Joe, I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you having me on.
Good, man. I see your work. You're always doing a solid job, my man. I wanted to get your thoughts on Jaylen Brown's weekend and Jason Tatum's weekend and just a Celtics perspective of NBA weekend, which I think turned out pretty poorly for the entire NBA.
Yeah, it certainly did. And so from a Brown and Tatum perspective, not as active as they have been in years past where they're participating in some of the festivities leading up to Sunday's All-Star game. But, you know, as far as the performance, both had fine performances. And Tatum, you could make a strong case that if that game was not in San Francisco in the Bay Area, that he walked away with MVP honors yet again. It would have been the second time in 3 years. And he had more points than Curry. Curry had other stats like rebounds you could point to, but ultimately I think it was that game being in the Bay that gave Steph the edge over Jason Tatum more than anything else. And then from as far as the weekend itself goes, look, it's not a good look, Joe, that they need someone from the G League, albeit on a two-way contract, to come and save the dunk contest right now. But more than anything, the problem this year is that the coverage from a broadcast standpoint and the production of it, I think when you look at the four major North American sports, that was the worst coverage of any All-Star game in any of those leagues at any period of time. It was more of a self-indulgent pat on the back. Let's pull away from the championship game to take about 10 minutes to congratulate ourselves. I mean, the coverage was a bigger problem than the product on the court yesterday, which is the thing that they seem the least interested in showcasing.
Yeah, I think that, dude, I love the NBA. I mean, Skaz does a podcast called Green Teamers. Like, we work every single Celtics game. We worked the championship last year. Like, on 98.5 The Sports, we give it straight on the Celtics. Like, we talk about it unbiased. But this weekend, dude, I couldn't even look at the game. Think about it, right? Twice this year, the NBA has been dominated by another sport. Christmas Day, LeBron wants to tell you that, they still own Christmas Day. Not the ratings didn't show us that, even Netflix, right? And then this weekend, you mean to tell me USA Canada? It's sure, it should beat the NBA. But Saturday Night Live's 50 year, I was locked into that thing, dude. I don't think I saw a second of the NBA All-Star game. So they got beat by not only USA and football, they're losing to Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, it's just the reality. The SNL 50, that was, in Hollywood circles, one of the most hyped up events there's been in quite some time. So I think people were really looking forward to that. And it's also the reality of where the NBA All-Star game, just what a far fall it's been over the last roughly decade or so, to where people don't really tune in. And even those who get excited to watch it, the beginning of those games matter so much for setting the stage for what you're about to see. And when the product's not good, it becomes very easy for most to just disengage, especially when there's an alternative. So people are pitching different ideas left and right. I have my own that I'd like to see, but ultimately there needs to be a fix. And I think it starts with a better effort. And as far as the financial incentive, Joe, it's just not what it once was, which makes this more of a vacation, with the reality being that at All-Star Weekend, the All-Star Game is the least important part of the agenda for the players there.
Talk about Bobby Krivitsky. We're talking about the NBA All-Star Weekend. Adam Silver's tried, right? Like, he's done the in-season tournament. One of his comments from this weekend was, if you want to make the league better, stop complaining about the officiating. Publicly, you saw Draymond Green calling out the league. But there's a couple of things here that I did want to talk about. One is, when it comes to the Celtics, when Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are on the same team, generally you win, right? That's a success long term. I also feel like they're being slighted by Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. We saw it at the Olympics. Right now, we're seeing it at the All-Star game. So on that level, like, I do feel like they're being slighted by other guys who've gotten all their, accolades throughout their career. What about the All-Star game potentially being in Boston at some point?
Yeah, and Jaylen Brown got asked about that after the All-Star game and after the All-Star tournament now under this new format last night. And he noted, and you could see it from different reporters who were at the Chase Center, that the events were about to get underway and the building's half empty. And the crowd wasn't that enthralled by the action and wasn't that enthusiastic. And as Jaylen Brown noted, it's just not the reality of how it's going to go if it returns to Boston. It's been 61 years. Every other franchise in the Eastern Conference has hosted it at least once. This is, fact not opinion, the most accomplished NBA franchise in the league's history. It's not just a blue blood, but it's the most championships and the most Hall of Famers. So to go 61 years for any city is egregious. For it to happen for Boston, given what it means to the league, given that Massachusetts is where the game was invented and the state where the Hall of Fame resides, it's pretty inexplicable, no matter how someone might try to argue it away for why it's been so long. But in 2028, I think there's a pretty strong possibility that it returns to Boston. And Adam Silver even noted, Joe, that the impending sale of the franchise is not something that he expects to get in the way of that happening.
Speaking of that, Brad Stevens, his contract's up, not this year, but next year, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so this is just me spitballing. I don't have any insight, nothing. I want to know what you think about it. There's probably a few blue blood programs in college basketball that maybe he'd be interested in. He turned down Indiana. Duke would be one of them. The other is probably North Carolina. They're struggling. Would he ever be interested in going to coach again in college with the pending sale and the fact that he might have to break up one of the best creations in NBA history?
Yeah, I mean, look, never say never. And obviously, I'm just speculating here, but this is a time where, because of the dramatic changes to the collegiate landscape, some of the most accomplished collegiate coaches in history, pick a sport, are leaving, whether they're retiring, whether they're trying to jump ship to the professional ranks. So unless you're Bill Belichick, most of these coaches with a big name brand are trying to get out of there at this point in time. I think Brad Stevens, he loves being in Boston. He loves the role that he's in. And so to me, I don't see him going anywhere for the foreseeable future. But again, there's obviously an unknown quality to this, and the sale of the team is one of those factors. So we'll have to see what it looks like. But I think Brad Stevens is very happy from a personal and a professional standpoint.
All right, Bobby, who's a team that you're worried about in the Eastern Conference when the playoffs start to ramp up? And I'll do a 2-part question here. Any concerns about Drew Holiday's health?
No, I think that with Drew Holiday, what we've seen, if you remember, he had the dead shoulder, or I think he argued against that specific phrasing of it late last season, but it stemmed from a St. Patrick's Day injury against Washington. And so people were concerned at that point in time, and he ultimately proved to be fine. And so, yes, this is someone who's 34, who's coming off a championship and an Olympic run and everything, and is now dealing with the impingement. But ultimately, I think above all else, this is about maintenance, and it was smart to give him the last 4 games leading into the All-Star break off to use this as a chance to kind of get him some needed rest to help Drew Holiday be at his best when it matters most.
All right, Bobby. I think it's the Pacers is the team that I'm worried about the most.
So I totally understand from a pace perspective and what that offensive attack looks like when they're right. And they've, for all their struggles this season, they've gotten it right now, and they're 4th in the Eastern Conference. To me, I'll be totally honest. The lame answer, if I'm to give a team, is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I've been saying since going into opening night that the Knicks, for all their talent and the moves they made to match up with the Celtics in particular, when Boston sees Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson on the floor together, they look at that combination like it's lunch meat defensively. So I'm just not worried about the Knicks, Joe. But, you have to respect what the Bucks are capable of, although I just don't think they have it in them to win a best-of-7 against the Celtics. So to me, I look at the Cleveland Cavaliers and the addition of DeAndre Hunter to that core four, and I think that is the team that's going to be the toughest for the Celtics to go through should they match up. But ultimately, Boston is the class of the Eastern Conference.
All right, Bobby. I like your work, man. I see you on the internet. I've mentioned you to Skazza. Where are you from here?
I am. I'm from Needham.
Needham boy, huh?
Yes, sir.
They got a great Detroit-style pizza over at Needham House of Pizza. Excellent little spot there. I worked at a radio station in Needham on Gould Street, so I know the area very well, my man. There used to be a Friendly's down the road there. I used to go to all the time.
Oh, you're taking me back. I loved that Friendly's back in the day. Go there on a half day. It was perfect.
Oh, Friendly's, the barbecue melt, Skaz. Oh, man. That thing was
delicious.
Was absolutely delicious. Well, Bobby, I appreciate you, man. You made your Sports Hub debut tonight. Love to get you in the rotation, my man. Good luck. Enjoy some time off, and we're all gearing up for another big Celtics run here, man.
Anytime, Joe. Appreciate you having me on. All the best.
You got it. It's Bobby Krivitsky, everybody. Check out his work. You can follow him on Twitter. Does an excellent job there, and appreciate him joining the show tonight. All right. We'll take a quick break here. I see people lined up on the phone lines as well. Should we go to breaks, guys, or should we, what do you think we should do here? I can't see your hands.
Go to break.
Oh, go to break. We got headlines out, guys.
Sports Hub Headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy.
because the game's ongoing, so we can't play it for you. But it's sources on the ground have told us that the reception tonight from the fans was absolutely wild and loud. And I'm going to tell you right now, Thursday night, that's going to be a banger. I think about someone called in earlier about this. This guy's okay. Last year it was Army Navy, right? Messi came to town last year. You know, we missed SummerSlam. I know it's wrestling. We missed SummerSlam a couple of years ago, so we didn't get that during COVID. What's another like major event that's been in Boston that could be bigger than this?
The World Cup's coming, Joe.
But not here yet, though.
It's coming.
What? Okay, so yes, but up until now, though, like Army Navy was a spectacle. Messi he might play in snow this week, which is cool. Do you think he'll play in that?
I've heard they might postpone the game.
Oh, because of Messi.
Apparently, they already did.
Oh, they already postponed it? Our soccer guy over there is all on the know. Trent. What's bigger than this? What could be bigger than USA, Canada for the championship in Boston? I'll wait. Will there be a World Cup championship in Boston?
No. It's at Jerry World, I believe.
What will be bigger than this? I mean, you can give me Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels with Mike Tyson, but that was, 1996.
What about John Cena's final match in Boston, Joe?
That's coming up.
No, nothing.
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 There's nothing bigger than this. We're going to be here. This is huge. USA, Canada, for the championship in Boston, with Montreal looking for revenge after losing on their own soil. McAvoy versus Marchand. Now I feel like it's WWE. Now I feel like I'm Jim Ross and a slobber knocker. And Jerry Lawler wants his puppies. This is huge. I didn't think it could get to this. This has now become like an epiphany. The sudden awareness about the truth. That is USA Canada for the championship in Boston. It's real. It's real, everybody. Tim is in Plymouth. Hey, Tim.
Hey, long time. So we had that talk about Eli being a Hall of Famer, but so you're pretty much saying if Jalen Hurts wins one more title with the Super Bowl MVP, he's an automatic Hall of Famer. But if you put, like, the way I look at it is, like, if you put, like, Josh Allen on the Eagles, would they win the championship? And, like, Josh Allen should be a Hall of Famer over Jalen Hurts as of career stats right now. But where's your argument there?
Well, I think neither are Hall of Famers right now. But are you listening to this station or another station?
No, I'm literally saying, you literally said because Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs that he should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I said that 2 weeks ago.
Okay, well, still, so if Jalen Hurts wins another Super Bowl and wins a Super Bowl MVP, then he doesn't have to play the rest of his career. He's an automatic Hall of Famer in your eyes.
No. I mean, he probably needs to play more games. I mean, this is what you called about?
Oh, no, I just thought that your argument last time was stupid. So, like, I figure I'd bring up this argument, and it's pretty much how you justified Eli Manning.
This is what I would call stupid, okay? Comparing apples to oranges. That's stupid.
Not really. I mean, they're both similar type players.
How long has Jalen Hurts been in the league, bro?
It literally doesn't matter. You literally said it because he has...
No.
I don't know, like 5 years, right?
Okay. How long did Eli Manning play?
20.
Do you know your facts right now? Or are you just
No, I get what you're saying, but like at the same time, like, did you not watch the game where the Eagles like trounced the Chiefs because of their O line and their D line? It was not like Jalen Hurts played good, but it was not Jalen Hurts.
Well,
just like
okay,
yeah,
so,
he played well, but he wasn't like a Super Bowl. He wasn't like the MVP of the game.
Okay, but he won the.
But
MVP,
obviously,
right?
Obviously, that's why I said quarterbacks are biased towards like you're being biased towards the quarterback.
Okay. I don't think Jalen Hurts is a Hall of Famer right now. Is that what you want to hear from me?
No, I agree with that, but I'm just saying, like, if he wins another one,
Jalen Hurts has 46 wins in his career. He has 85 touchdowns.
Anyways, Joe, I like you.
No,
I like
just real
listening
quick,
to you.
how do we compare a guy with 366 touchdowns to a guy with 46?
No, because
that's apples and oranges, bro.
No, because the problem is you were basing it off of Super Bowl wins and MVPs. You weren't basing it off touchdowns because
Joe Namath in the Hall of Fame, right? How many championships does he have?
I'm young, so I would guess one. Yeah,
and he's under 500 for his career.
Yeah,
so,
obviously not.
Well, no, I'm just matching apples to apples. 14,000 yards to 56,000 yards. That's a big difference.
Yeah, but you could also equate his rushing to that. Like Eli didn't run the ball. So
I added those in.
Okay. Wow. Anyways, like I said.
No, but just
I just don't think Eli should be a Hall of Famer.
Here's what I would recommend, Tim. Pull up a thesaurus or Google, right? Look at quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. Do me a favor. Look up how many have 57,000 yards throwing. Look up how many have 366 yards, how many touchdowns they have. Look how many played that many consecutive games. Eli Manning broke Tom Brady's record for consecutive games played. Don't we credit Tom Brady for how many games he's played and being out there constantly? But we take it away from Eli, though, right?
Yeah, no.
But the Jalen Hurts thing is not it's not a comp. When you buy a house, right? Do you look at the brand new house that was just built down the street and comp it to what you have?
Yeah, no, that's true. I get it. All right. I just bothered me.
Have you had a few drinks tonight?
No.
Are you high? What are you eating?
I'm having, have you ever been to Alltown? It's a gas station, but it's really good. I swear to God.
I know what it is. Yes. What are you eating?
All right.
Are you high?
I'm having chips.
Are you high?
And queso. No, I don't smoke.
You're just eating chips, complaining. You dropped them, Skaz. I didn't.
Yeah, Joe, I had to do the people a favor there. That was
if he wasn't. If he said he was high, I would have let him go.
Yeah, I was honestly hoping he was.
I was
Joe.
hoping that.
I'm glad we got the worst call of the night out of the way, though. That's always good.
We need a tool bag of the day, but what would we call it?
Tool bag of the night, Joe.
Tool bag of the dirt.
Why don't you save that call for when, I don't know, either A, Jalen Hurts does win a second championship, or B, his career is over, like Eli Manning's is?
Ready? Let's let it roll. John's in New Hampshire. Hey, John.
Hey, Joe. I got to say, I kind of agree with that lost call. I don't think he was really a douchebag. What I do think is that Eli Manning being a Hall of Famer is untrue. Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer for all of that arguments that he said. 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. That's fantastic. And an average quarterback for the other 15 years of his career. And you brought up volume stats, Joe, and you're comparing him to other quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. You know damn well how flawed volume stats are for quarterbacks based on eras. You know that.
Is Eli Manning better than Joe Namath? Was he better?
Joe, I'm 22 years old.
Yeah,
I didn't watch.
Talk about what you know. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a hater. You're a hater. You're an Eli Manning hater. Because why? Why are you a hater? By the way, I loved Eli Manning. He's walking down the street, right? They go, hey, Eli, you didn't make the Hall of Fame. He goes, yeah, so what? He goes, I'm in my hometown. I'm walking down Bourbon Street right now. Like, I'm going to be just fine. He is going to be just fine. Does anybody not look? Does 57,000 yards not count anymore?
Wonder if that guy thinks Brett Favre is a Hall of Famer, because he amassed a lot of stats for hanging around for a long time, but I don't see those getting discredited.
Nobody ever brings up how many interceptions that Brett Favre threw. Who won more Super Bowls, Brett Favre or Eli Manning?
That would be Eli Manning, Joe.
22. I don't know what I'm talking about. Then why are you calling? All right, let's go. Ray is in Lynn. Hey, Ray. Ray? Fine. Andre's in Worcester.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
So first of all, I am tired of all the Jalen Hurts slander. He's a winner. I don't know if he'll be a going to the Hall of Fame, but I do know that he's a winner. I think it's too early to tell right now. I do think he did something that Lamar Jackson couldn't do, and he did something that all of these guys couldn't do. They couldn't beat Patrick Mahomes. So, hey, I give him credit. Give the man credit where it's due. And he threw some nice passes.
Hey, Andre, he had two of the biggest wins in NFL history. He was the most consecutive played games guy. I heard that about Brett Favre my whole career. I heard it about Tom Brady. Dude, he went 500 for his career, but he threw for 57 yards and over 360 touchdowns. Yeah, he played on the Giants, but to me, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, right. I mean, right now it's still early, but I just think they just need to give him some credit. And as far as the Eli is concerned, he's tough because he did have those two big Super Bowl wins.
He beat the best team of all time. He scored the game-winning touchdown and took the ball out of Tom Brady's hands.
Okay, but let me ask you this: when's the last in any of the seasons that he played? Did we ever consider him like a top-tier quarterback?
Yes.
A top 3, top 5 quarterback?
I did. He threw for 57,000 yards and 366 touchdowns.
Okay. Well, that's for me. I never looked at him as like a top 5 quarterback in the league. However, he's got those 2 chips, so I can't really argue that. That's facts. Eventually he will get in. I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but hey, it is what it is.
Oh, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Wow. It's Don and Carver got to say tonight.
Hey, Guy, how are you?
How you doing?
Hey, listen, a completely different topic here. You mentioned Indiana. You're a fan of their team.
Yeah.
They got a young, hustling team, and I agree with you on that. And you bumped into my son at one of the sports shows.
Yes.
And he's running around buying, investing his money in early NBA, like guys that have just been drafted or in their second year, who are projected to be stars in the league. And he follows college basketball. He follows all the NBA. He tells me about guys I never heard of, and he says, "Watch, Dad, they're going to be stars, and their cards are going to shoot up." And the Celtics are going to have a rough time of it. Not only this year. This year will be, they'll have to go through the quagmire. But the next couple of years, it's going to be tough. There are a lot of good young NBA ball players in that league now. And that's it for me tonight, Joe.
All right, man.
Oh, by the way,
yes,
I am not an Eli Manning Hall of Fame guy at all. Joe Namath, I was around for Joe Namath. The only time I loved a New York person or team, Joe Namath. I could kiss a man.
Hey, Don.
The overinflated NFL, Don Shula-led Colts, and they got nailed. And he changed the whole landscape, and the NFL was made. And the following year, Len Dawson came through for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I got to say.
He has worse statistics, worse record, less Super Bowls than Eli. Just facts. I'm not even taking a side here. I'm just speaking in fact. It's what we do here on the Night Show. Man, this Eli thing really gets people, huh? This hour of the sports was brought to you by Valvoline. It's an oil change. Enjoy 15% off your next drive through oil change at Valvoline. It's an oil change, the official oil change of busy people. We missed musings, but you know what? We're going to do it anyways. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub. station.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Sweden up 2-1 right now over Team USA. They'll take on Canada in the championship game on Thursday. Bengals will franchise tag T. Higgins. And Red Sox workouts began today. Rafael Devers says he will not switch positions. Headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5. The Sports Hub.
We love you, Joe. That's why I get annoyed with this topic. Thank you. I watched Saturday Night Live last night, everybody. The 50th anniversary. Skaz did too. I give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good. I really did. Listen, I watched Saturday Night Live. I know there's been some good seasons, some down seasons. You can give me your first seven, the first seven of all time, and then it was better in the 80s and then in the 90s, whatever. My era was the Adam Sandler era. I personally, I liked In Living Color. I loved In Living Color. Like, back then it was like David Allen Greer, Tommy Davidson, Damon Wayans, Keenan Ivory Wayans. Like, those were the stars with Jim Carrey. I loved In Living Color. Then Jamie Foxx and Shawn Wayans became stars. But when it comes to Saturday Night Live, I watched a lot of the concerts. I liked what I saw. I thought Weekend Update was okay. I thought Bill Murray's appearance was pretty good. He named his all-time, made his brother number one. I like that. But the only thing I wanted was I wanted Wayne's World. We didn't get it. I thought the Jeopardy segment was very good. Eddie Murphy was awesome. Would you agree, Skaz?
Yeah, for me, Eddie Murphy was the best part.
Him playing Tracy Morgan?
Thought that was fantastic. But the skit at the end with Will Ferrell, I thought was really good, and Keenan.
Yes. And you know what was so funny is, did you see Keenan cracking every time Eddie Murphy would talk? I love that. I thought the Debbie Downer was really good. I thought some of the tributes that they did, the falling through the table stuff was really good. Even the stuff that was canceled, they owned it. They owned it. I felt like for the first time in a long time, Saturday Night Live was comfortable with being uncomfortable. Anything else you liked? Oh, by the way, the Sabrina Carpenter stuff, for those that don't know, earlier this year.
I thought Pedro Pascal was very good.
He was awesome. Oh, the Woody Harrelson, Meryl Streep, that was great. This Devil Wears No Nada. Oh!
I was surprised to learn that was the first time Meryl Streep had ever been on Saturday Night Live. I thought that was interesting.
That was good. You know what I didn't like? I didn't love the hot dogs and cocaine. Even though Adam Driver was the hot dog.
Nathan Lane, you didn't like that?
I just didn't. You know what though? That's why I watch Saturday Night Live. There's some things I like, some I don't.
I'm a big Mulaney guy, so I thought that was
John
good.
Mulaney, yeah, he was all right.
I was surprised. I'm a big Bill Hader guy. I was a little surprised there was no Bill Hader. I know he's talked personally about how much anxiety SNL gave him, and maybe that was just part of it. But I would have liked to see Hader. Conan, I know Conan was there, and obviously with the death of his parents and stuff, maybe just didn't work out. I would have liked to see Conan there. I will say I thought it was kind of weird Steve Martin did the opening monologue. Look, I like Steve Martin, obviously a tremendous host. He was never on Saturday Night Live, though.
I think he hosted it, though.
But he was never a cast member.
I think he had the most appearances as a host, I think.
Yeah, him or Goodman, probably. But I just
did this thing recently of how many guys were on. And
I just thought, 50th anniversary, I thought that should have been Eddie.
Maybe it's because but maybe Eddie was acting, so all I'm saying is, what is he, 79? Whatever.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Steve Martin doing it. I just thought it was weird that they opened it with Paul Simon and Sabrina Carpenter and then Steve Martin, and none of them have ever been on SNL.
Paul Simon was tough.
Like, Sabrina Carpenter was all over the 50th anniversary. She's never hosted the show.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny?
She's been a musical guest, but she's never hosted. And I like Sabrina Carpenter. I think she does a really good job. I just thought that was interesting.
I love the Domingo.
Yes, Marcelo Hernandez is very good.
Domingo, and then
Bad Bunny was in there.
Came in. That was hilarious.
I thought Tina Fey and Amy Poehler did pretty good.
That was good. Robert De Niro with Debbie Downer, and Jimmy Kimmel with Drew Barrymore, the fever pitch thing.
Local, Ayo Edebari was in there, local girl.
She was in that skit. I'm trying to think of some other stuff that was on. I'd have to go back to it, but They played all the commercials from all time. I thought that was great. Alec Baldwin did that one.
The Bass-O-Matic.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds being asked, "Hey, babe, everything okay?" Julie Louis-Dreyfus with the dog. I thought that was funny.
Adam Driver just sitting there stoically.
Sitting there not doing anything. That was pretty funny.
I do think they had Adam Driver in the hot dog costume, Joe, because his father, Harrison Ford, in Star Wars, originally was the guy in the hot dog suit.
Oh, see, there's a little Easter egg there. Give you more Easter eggs. I thought. Oh, by the way, I thought Lil Wayne's performance was awesome.
Yeah, that one of my big takeaways was how did we not get Wayne for the Super Bowl in his hometown, New Orleans? Because every song he played was an absolute banger. You're just like, this guy just has hit after hit after hit.
That was good. The Roots, rock. Shout out, though, the girl from the Alabama Shakes and Miley Cyrus.
Brittany Howard is tremendously talented.
Say whatever you want, but that to me, for those that don't know, so Prince wrote Nothing Compares. Sinead O'Connor, she sang it on Saturday Night Live, but at the time she ripped up a photo of the Pope that was in, well, by the way, she came out to be almost right about all that, and she was somewhat disrespected. I took that as a tribute. They did mention only 2 people ever to be on the show were actual serial killers. I believe it was Robert Blake and OJ. I had to put that together after a while. I honestly thought it was really good. I don't want to overrate it. I gave it a 9 out of 10 because I understood everything. I watch a lot of Saturday Night Live. I even go back. I watch old ones. I'd like to rewatch the 40th anniversary. The other thing I'll say is this. Adam Sandler has been putting out some real just great songs when it comes to tributes. The Chris Farley one was really touching. But Adam Sandler mentioned everyone that was ever a part of the show that passed away or moved on or was influential, and kind of ended it with Farley and Norm. And for those who don't know, there are some people that were fired from Saturday Night Live, and Adam Sandler was one of them. Him, Chris Farley, and Norm. Norm was fired because of the OJ stuff, which, by the way, he was right. You notice how guys get fired for... everyone's up in arms right now about Tom Hanks, and I'm not getting into this, okay? It's not a political discussion here. It's not. But, man, people, they got their feathers ruffled with him last night. It's comedy. It's comedy.
Joe, I also did love that in one of the commercial montages, our guy Tim Robinson got a
I saw that.
I was pumped. I was like, hey, there we go. Tim getting a little love from Lauren.
I almost thought it was Are You Serious? One of those things going. I saw that. It was some drink, right?
It was the Z shirt.
Yeah,
I believe. Yes.
Well, what's the guy's name? Flash? Dan Flashes? Was that
Yes, Dan Flashes. I'm also a big Chris Parnell guy, so I was happy to see some Chris Parnell last night.
Yeah. The one that kind of in hindsight, you look back at it, the John Belushi, the little skit that Lauren made regarding all
I think Belushi made it.
Oh, it was Belushi. Okay. I thought it was
you're talking about the cemetery scene and stuff. Yeah.
That was, watching that was a little, it was ironic. How about that? Trying to think of what else I missed. Who else played for music?
Paul McCartney.
Oh, yeah, Paul at the end. That was good.
Yeah, I mean, good for him for just
Living
being out
legend.
there and still doing it. He sounded decent. Sounded better than Post Malone doing Nirvana.
See, I liked it. Now listen, I got a take on this. If you play music and did he play it in tune? No. Were their guitars in tune? No. But anytime I could get Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl and Pat Smear on the stage together, I'm in.
But you're missing the best part of Nirvana.
We've been missing it since 1994.
Kind of what I'm saying, though, Joe, is
we haven't gotten real Nirvana. Now listen, the last time, maybe the Unplugged is the last time we got real Nirvana. And I'm dead serious because Kurt Cobain was so yoked that he wasn't with us. So when is the last time it's been over 30 years, dude.
It just felt like karaoke to me. I don't know, I wasn't into it.
Yep. Yeah, it's fine. This is music. You're entitled to what you like and what you don't like. I was fine with it because I do think that, he's putting out this album now. I'm kind of interested,
What'd you think of Kim K last night, Joe? Getting in on one of the first sketches of the night.
Will Ferrell comes out as Robert Goulet. Papa. Big Papa. Kim looked great. I am a Kim Kardashian defender. I think she's misunderstood. You can think whatever you want about her, but I have my own thoughts. I thought she was. Scarlett Johansson was very good in that. Oh, is Kristen Wiig not phenomenal? She is. I didn't realize she could sing that like that. But her and McKinnon, they have to. Like, I think Amy Poehler and Tina Fey are probably like a great team, right? But like, the McKinnon and Wiig, like, did they follow each other? How did that happen? They're spectacular.
Yeah, Kate McKinnon, every time they do that stupid alien sketch, the one they brought Meryl Streep out onto. Kate McKinnon's great.
Amen. John Hamm was good at that. Am I funny? He was not funny at all, but that was funny. When every time he said amen. Oh, man. It was good. I enjoyed every little bit of it. I'd suggest going back and watching it. They did a little bit of Now Deep Thoughts, which was okay, by Jack Handy. But that was a 90s thing. Like, that was right up there. I'm trying to think of anything else. They kind of hit on. They got Tim Meadows in the David Spade.
I like when Tim Meadows gets a little. Guy deserves a little shine.
What'd you think of the Chad scene?
With Pete Davidson. That was fine. I think Pete Davidson's good in like his weekend update spots. I thought that was okay.
Yeah, but I think it was funny because you could relate to that, right? There are people that just are like that.
Absolutely. I like that they gave some shine to people that aren't on the camera. Like,
the girl that did the dress,
the Jason Momoa thing was funny. Yeah, little things like that.
That was good. The guy with the upside down cards was funny. Overall, I really liked it. I'm sure there's a lot of critics. This is what it is, but I was entertained. I mean, I was locked into this thing. But yeah, are there a few other things I wish they did? Yep. Maybe I'll have to go back to the 40th. Now it makes me want to go watch. Chevy Chase is old.
Yeah, I saw people like complaining that he wasn't in it. What did you want him to do? He can't do anything.
Do you know what was funny about the Scared Straight bit, Joe, real quick? One was Harry Potter, right? The other was Hercules, Nutty Professor. And then the other one was like, let me tell you, I was born in the North Pole.
Yeah, it's Elf, guys. It's Elf.
And the kid, that was so funny. It was good. I liked it. I'd watch it again if I could. I got no birthdays tonight, do you?
Joe, it's actually a very big birthday day today, I believe.
Yeah, what's today's date?
Let me take a quick, because I remember seeing a couple this morning, and I was like, oh, man. Joe, it is Michael Jordan's 62nd birthday today.
Oh, my God. Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time.
Joe, it is also Paris Hilton's 44th birthday today.
I'm Paris Hilton. I like Nicole Richie.
It is your guy, Jeremy Allen White's 33rd birthday today.
How about Renee Russo? 71. You might remember her from Major League, Lethal Weapon. What else was she in? Why can't I remember what else she was in? Lou Diamond fell. La 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 bamba. 63 years old today. By the way, he's awesome in La Bamba. That's one of my favorite movies. Ricky. And have you ever heard the story about Robbie Roadsteamer has a is it a Facebook account of the brother from La Bamba? You know how he was an artist? he has a Facebook account. Because he won. Remember, he won the contest? But Ricky, I won my contest. What else do we have? Michael Bay, director, 61. Denise Richards, 54. Wild things. She's still married to Charlie Sheen?
That I don't know. Born on this day in 1974, Joe, one Jerry O'Connell.
Ooh. He was in a bunch of stuff.
Stand By Me.
Stand By Me. There you go.
Kangaroo Jack.
Happy 53rd birthday to Billy Joe Armstrong of Green.
Ones. Like it's not Wake Me Up When September Ends, I'll tell you that. American Idiot, no.
Song's about his dad dying. What else? I know you can hate it. It's okay.
I don't hate it, but I feel like it was every graduation song when I was in middle school.
I think Basket Case. When I Come Around is probably one of their big ones. How about you, Trent? Do you like Green Day? Do you know who Green Day is? Who do you like?
Said he knows who they are. He's aware.
When they give me a song, do you know a song? I think Welcome to Paradise is my favorite song by Green Day. We're missing one. Ed Sheeran. I think there's a Joe Murray Ed Sheeran back there, right?
There's gotta be.
Maybe. Can't remember now.
I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull.
Oh, no.
That's just Ed Sheeran. We need the Joe Murray version.
It's got to be in there.
It's in there. Hold on. That must have just been
when you find it, let me know.
before.
We'll go to break with it. I think that's all we got for birthdays. All right, we'll go to break. Ed Sheeran's 34 today. We'll have more. Coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. And now he's thinking about me every night. Oh, is that sweet? I guess so. So you can't sleep? Baby, I know that's that me espresso. Move it up, down, left, right, oh. Switch it up like Nintendo. So you can't sleep? Baby, I know that's that me espresso. I can't relate to desperation. My gives a F are on vacation. And I got this one boy, and he won't stop calling when they act this way. I know I got him. Too bad your ex don't do it for you. Walked in and dream came true and for you. Soft skin and I perfumed it for you. I know I Mountain Dew it for you. That morning coffee brewed it for you. One touch and I brand new it for you. And now he's thinking about me every night.
Back here on the Sports Hub.
That's sweet, I guess so. Say you can't sleep, baby, I know.
Oh, Domingo.
Move it up, down, left, right, oh. Switch it up like Nintendo. So you can't sleep, baby, I know. That's me espresso. It's Joe Espresso. And did you hear Christina in the back at the end of that song? She was like, that was awesome. One take Joe right there.
Definitely the favorite from this past summer. That was far and away the people's favorite.
I got to work on a few others, but yes, if you haven't seen the the Saturday Night Live version, it's very funny. And Martin Short, and Molly Shannon, are just like, David, go! And now he's. Anyways. Oh, wait, let's go to the Josh, our intern Josh, wants to get in on the Eli talk. What's up, Josh?
What's up, Joe? What's going on?
What do we got?
Listen, for those two guys that called earlier, I'm a big Giants fan.
No disclaimer.
One thing that
say it.
Well, yeah, one thing that I got to say is that was one of the most idiotic takes I think I might have ever heard in my entire life. I mean, just talk about absolutely not knowing what you're talking about in the first place, saying Jalen Hurts, if he wins one more Super Bowl MVP, that he'll be a Hall of Famer. Ridiculous. And on top of that, let's just take a look at some things for a second here. Eli Manning, one of the better playoff quarterbacks, I would say. Not one of the best, but one of the better ones
in the
NFL history.
Yep.
With that being said, he took a wild card team to the Super Bowl and beat the best team possibly ever.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to say that this guy, Jalen Hurts is just as good as him, if not better. Come on, man. Come on.
The guy was trying to say because Eli has 2 Super Bowls and 2 MVPs. If Hurts wins another, does that mean he's an automatic Hall of Famer? And
listen, he beat Brady's record for consecutive starts until Ben McAdoo. Glad he's out of our organization, even though we're not much better now.
He's with the Patriots.
Yeah, well, I mean, he until he benched Eli that one game, that was really smart. But, I mean, listen, that's kind of all I really got to say. Eli Manning, you guys are just Eli Manning haters. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. One of the best quarterbacks of my generation, at least. Loved getting to watch him play, especially with the situation that we have now. And I'll see you guys at work tomorrow.
All right, Josh. Eli talk. I just got an email being like, hey, with this downtime of year, what are some of the things you don't like hearing on the radio? So I'm kind of curious. I'll put it out there. Is Eli Manning talk one of them?
I think for Patriots fans, Joe, it certainly it seems to be a trigger of sorts.
What about size? Should we get back to the size conversation?
You know what women love, Joe?
They love size.
Size.
But this is what I mean. Tristan Casas is 6'4". He plays first base, right? How tall is Rafael Devers? He's 5'10", 260, in my opinion. If I was eyeballing Devers, that dude's 260. What else? What else don't people like to hear at this time of year? Mount Rushmore talk? What else? What else? Everyone's talking about Tarantino. Oh, draft talk, brokerage babe, huh? Out on draft talk this time of year? I'm going to write this down. Barrett Sports Media reached out to me and said, what are some topics that you don't want to talk about? So there I am, talking about them. And I don't want to. Kevin Smith or Tarantino? I'd probably say Tarantino, but I need to look into it more. I loved Dogma. Trying to think of some other Kevin Smith stuff that, obviously there's the Jay and Silent Bob stuff. Chasing Amy. Mallrats. Those are all good movies. Django was great. Pulp Fiction was great. Jackie Brown was great. That's a good one. Joe, are you shocked that Jey Uso is the most over guy in pro wrestling? No, I'm not. From Dennis, huh? Say what's up to the cream and cone.
Sean Silver, Dennis's finest.
That's right. The
6'4" menace out of East Dennis.
That's right. Kevin Smith would be flattered to hear me say that. Well, thank you. Mallrats was awesome. Yeah, D. Leaper. $15, little man. Put that in my hand. I'm going to get myself in trouble tonight, I think. Oh, Friday night.
You survived Friday night, Joe. Woo! I was just filling intern Trent in on what happened on Friday night.
Friday night, man, that was I'm surprised none of us have. It was like it happened, and then no one ever will talk about it again. But some of the songs, this weekend I had more people reach out to. Again, one of the biggest myths in radio is when someone tells you, "Oh yeah, I don't listen to you. I don't listen to you," but then they listen to you, and then they tell you. So it's like, do you say that to insult me? Like, why? I can't sing the song, D. So Ian Bine said he finds himself watching certain films over and over. Do you know what I cannot stop? Like, if The Fugitive is on, forget it. If The Sandlot's on, forget it. If Apollo 13's on, I'm on the mission, baby.
You call it getting Shawshanked? I got Shawshanked by my cousin Vinny this weekend.
I saw it this weekend.
It was like the last 25 minutes, maybe, last 30 minutes.
Yesterday, right? I'm pumped for Saturday Night Live, right? Pumped for Saturday Night Live. And for some reason, The Devil Wears Prada's on my television.
Getting you ready for Merrill.
I don't know what happened. I went to the screen and I was like, I know what the movie's about, but like Anne Hathaway and the guy from Entourage were together in that movie. Whatever happened to the dude from Entourage? How come I haven't seen him? Is he canceled?
Maybe the most overrated show of all time. Not an Entourage guy, Joe.
You know what it's about, right? You know who wrote it?
It's part of the reason why I don't like it, Joe.
I met the real guys. I did tell you my New Kids on the Block story, right? Or my...
Yes. We did Donnie talk last week.
I saw him on a commercial on the Dunkings. David, Entourage sucked. Did it suck?
I think if you go back and it's very cringy, Joe.
I didn't like Vinny.
It's like bro frat, like I don't know. There's just something about it that not a fan. It felt like it was trying really hard to be cool.
All right, if you had to choose Johnny Drama or Turtle,
neither.
Come on, Skaz, you got to choose one.
Which one was Jeremy Piven?
Jeremy Piven was the agent, right?
I'll take him because he's very funny in Rush Hour.
He's good. He's also good in Old School, right? He's the dean.
I just like when he's trying to get Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker dressed in Rush Hour. It's a very funny scene.
Turtle. There's a lot of turtles in the old Ferrara, right?
There's a lot of men chasing us. As well there should be.
Someone says, let's talk about how nobody would mind if we traded Marchand.
I think Marchand would mind.
He would mind. I don't think I would. Someone just mentioned the movie Heavyweights.
Ben Stiller.
By the way, a writer on Saturday Night Live. Did you know that?
Ben Stiller, I did not know
Went
that.
from that to his own show, The Ben Stiller Show.
You know what I was also surprised to learn last night? Colin Jost. He's been with SNL since 2002 or something like that.
Well, Colin Jost is doing just fine.
He's doing really fine, Joe. He's doing great, actually.
Imagine being married to Scarlett Johansson.
She was very funny last night, too. I didn't realize she could sing like that either. He's doing well.
People now giving there's a lot of votes going on in here with Johnny Drama now. It's a turtle versus drama. Anyways, we'll take a break here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by
here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Getting a lot of wild takeaways on the Four Nations face-off. Do you like the World Baseball Classic? I was interested for a minute.
Yeah, I thought it was with Ohtani and Team USA. I thought it was really good this past year.
I watched it.
I mean, if you're a Mets fan and you had to go through the Edwin Diaz thing a year or two ago, I don't know if you love it. But yeah, I think the World Baseball Classic is, at least something that, baseball is trying to bring to a wider audience.
It's Pasternak doing tonight?
He's at the Garden, Joe, watching the game.
Oh, yeah?
Trains with a lot of the Swedish guys in the offseason. He's in the house.
Are you looking forward to the Bruins second half at all? Because I listen, just being transparent, I fear what's going to happen here at night. Like the Celtics are going to be a bore. You know why? And I mean this. The Celtics play 13 road games the rest of the way, guys. All their games are going to be at home, and Jason Tatum made a statement about playing better at home. So I think I honestly think they're going to roll the rest of the way. Injuries, of course. The Drew Holiday thing, dude, I think there's some... No sort. I'm not a reporter. I am not a reporter. But I'll tell you this much. I'm wondering if there's something there with his shoulder. I'm serious. I have no sources. But, why should he play any more games? What do you need Drew Holiday to prove from now until the end of the regular season? Do you even need him in the first round?
I'd take him for the last 2 minutes of every half. End of the first half, end of the game.
I'm telling you, I think there's something there. This is not informed. I don't have any sources on it. I think it's a concern. And I think they'll be fine. If they have some issues late in the game, yeah, you'll look at it and say, well, Holiday will be back. But, guys, if he's back first game Thursday night, I'll take it all back, baby. I feel like there's something to look at there. When it comes to the Bees, though, if they try to build on this team, they're ruining their future. If you trade draft picks to improve this team, do you really think they can go on a run? I will say I do think Swayman's been better. I don't know. I'm literally scared about the Bruins. For our sake at night. If they stink, man, blow it up, we're gonna lose the fan base. You know what I mean? We're gonna lose that listener. And I hope that's not the case. But how about Anson Carter earlier talking about next Bruins coach? He said Joel Quenneville. Oof. It's a name, though, right? It's a big name. Always lurking. That's a big one. John checks in. I was at the World Baseball Classic in Miami. Dominican Puerto Rico game. Best in-person game I've been to. The DR versus PR. Multiple marching bands in the stadium. That's cool. That's cool. In 94, Brazil played here, guys, at the old Foxborough Stadium. It was wild. What are we getting this year? Or when is it, next year? I forget. We don't know the teams yet, though, right? Man, that's going to be good. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll wrap this thing up. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I've had a few people already tweet at me tonight. Someone goes, nobody in their right mind has ever said Eli Manning's a top 5 quarterback. He must be high. I'm not sure I said that. I said that he's 11th all-time in NFL history in touchdown passes. And then a guy who has a handle named Tom Brady's Burner says, and bleeping stupid. Notice that? Everyone that I've talked to tonight has said stupid take, stupid this, stupid that, stupid. When it comes to Eli Manning, stupid. Nobody has, a real good take on why. Nobody. So therefore, I don't take you seriously. I don't. What do you think of the jerseys tonight? Sweden's jerseys? Hey, it's our boy Anson Carter.
They're fine. I still think USA and Canada have the best jerseys in the tournament. Maybe I'm biased there, but something about those Canada jerseys, they're always, Joe, very nice.
Well, we got a Connor Hellebuck versus Jordan Binnington in the Garden for a championship game. What was the line again that you saw?
I believe it was minus 105 going both ways.
Hey, in or out on Kevin Hart?
Out.
I'm getting out on him.
He's overexposed, oversaturated.
That's exactly what happened. Some guys just get overexposed, commercialized. That's a Traveling Wilburys line. George Harrison.
R.I.P.
Man, get some Wilburys on there. Oh. Everybody's got somebody to lean on. What do we got tomorrow night? What we got? No games, right? Hear the new Drake album at all?
I thought some decent songs.
Mm-hmm.
Thought Nokia was good. I thought Give Me a Hug was pretty good.
He wants to squash the beef with Kendrick.
I don't think that's what he said, Joe.
Oh, is that what he said? Anyways, we're back here tomorrow. Full show, everybody. What else do we have going on? Full shows. Full steam ahead. We'll react to maybe what Devers says tomorrow. Maybe there's some fallout of some stuff. Thanks to everybody helping out tonight. Trent, nice job.